Welcome in, everybody, to the NECC CLOL Conference Finals. It's been a very long season, and finally, we have two teams who stand at the top of the mountain in the NECC, but only one of them can stake their claim to the peak of the mountain. We have Ole Miss taking on Winthrop. It's a tale as old as time. My name is Yanni. I'm joined here by my co-caster, Shibby. Shibby, we have seen these two teams constantly, and another chapter will be written in their story rivalry.
It's Goku Vegeta, right? Let's call it as it. It's Goku Vegeta of CLOL this year, right? Somehow Goku or Winthrop tends to get the better of him, but it always feels like Vegeta is that much closer, right? He's so close. He's always trailing behind, and I think that's kind of been the tale and the story of these two teams. It is a rivalry. To say that it may be one-sided, I think is wrong, because if you look at the games, if you look at how they've been played out, they're damn close, right? Like, Winthrop is coming away from these wins bruised up, messed up liver, scratches on their back. Like, they're not coming out of this clean, and I think this is going to be a very exciting matchup for us in these NECC Grand Finals, right? The number 1 and number 2 seed for CLOL.
Yeah, and it's been an interesting path, to say the least, when it comes to the playoffs for these teams. I must say, it's been pretty easy for the side of Ole Miss. They've been on the easier side of the bracket, I'd say, because Fisher's on the other side over with Winthrop. Listen, they took out, Ole Miss took out Indiana University, Bloomington. They beat UIUC in a very clean 3-0, and here they are. On the other side, Winthrop, they had to take on the U-Tactics, right? The University of Health and Sciences, is pharmacy in St. Louis, and they got a pretty solid roster, but Winthrop made it look easy. But yesterday, they took on Fisher. Fisher, as we know, playing with Dragon Min Kim at AD carry, but otherwise have a solid starting roster. Winthrop did not look that great yesterday.
Yeah, they definitely were taking some licks. They ended up obviously taking the series, I believe, in a 3-1 victory, but they definitely looked a little weaker, right? They looked like there was some vulnerabilities, and there were some areas in which Fisher were taking advantage of. A lot of people thought that if the Fisher keeps playing the way they did, that they might actually upset Winthrop, and we would have had a whole conniption, right? When it comes to seeding and everything like that. It would have thrown everything out of balance, but Winthrop ended up taking care of business. Denethor Camille came in. When that gets thrown down, the gauntlet is real. You've got to start taking him seriously. So I'm excited. I'm very excited to see if Winthrop is gonna unleash the man that is Denethor back onto Ole Miss's top side.
And speaking of, we are going to have our starting lineups for today's game. Ole Miss with Stray up in the top lane, Icelandic Hero in the jungle, your Uncle Sam in the mid lane, and the fantastic all-star bot lane of Shogo and Rhino. A team not to be messed with, but on the other side, as everybody knows by now, a team who has an equally gas starting lineup in the form of Winthrop University. That team is so good, pound for pound. Denethor up in the top lane, Watao in the jungle, Sword in the mid lane, and an equally as scary bot lane with Mobility and Chookies. Shibby, it's so crazy to think that in these teams' last 7 individual games with both of these even lineups, Winthrop is 6-1.
Yeah, I mean, it's a close 6-1, right? It's the closest that we've been able to see here, and I think Winthrop just have that edge, right? They're able to kind of stall these games out. I think the classic story has always been Ole Miss gets some early game advantages. They've got a lot of good early game plays, right? They move around the map, and then they start waffling about after 20 minutes. They get sometimes a little over-aggressive, chase for some kills, don't take the objective, and Winthrop is able to use their moves, use their ability to get back onto the map, and kind of make plays where there shouldn't be. And I think, for me, the victory or the keys for victory for Ole Miss is that they just need to tighten up their gameplay, right? They know that they can beat this team. They know that they have the players on paper, the ability to outlane them, outmatch them in the early game. It's transitioning that into the mid game, into the late game, clean barons, clean objective setups. That's what's going to make this team go over the edge and beat Winthrop here. Well, on the side for Winthrop, I mean, they've been having a fantastic season, right? I mean, granted, promo tournaments didn't go the way they wanted, but so far have looked like a top 3 roster. For you, Yanni, what do you think Winthrop needs to do to continue their dominance over Ole Miss?
They got to win through their solo lane, Shibby. It just seems like Denethor and Sword are just that much better than Uncle Sam and Stray when it comes down to it. And while Shogo and Rhino have one of the best, if not the best spot lane in CLOL, let's be honest, Winthrop isn't too far behind. That gap where Ole Miss typically has a large advantage isn't as large against a team like Winthrop. I think that's why they struggle against them. So Winthrop, when they get it done, they just have to do what they've been doing, get solid, consistent play out of their solo laners. And the draft is going to have a large impact in this game, Shibby, as we are going to head to the draft right now between Winthrop and Ole Miss. Now, Ole Miss, they are the higher seed, so they are coming in with side selection, and they opted for blue side.
Yeah, why not? I think one of Ole Miss's biggest strengths, I think we used to see it early on, is their ability to use blue side flex picks, right? Maokai was a big one that they used to do, right? When it was really strong early on in the season, they would pick it early and then they would flex it to the support role, give jungle an advantageous matchup, right? I think you can find those avenues once again with champions like Rek'Sai, who's been coming up in popularity, right? She can be flexed into the top lane and into the jungle. Obviously, very different results and different builds, but the ability to lock that in early, potentially get a counter pick, right? Once they've locked in or once they're confident that the other team has locked in their top laner, you can flex that around here and there. That's been Ole Miss's biggest strength, in my opinion, and I want to see if they've unlocked some more picks. Galio got some buffs. Maybe Rhino's been playing at support. I don't know. Maybe they can flex that between Marty or Uncle Sam and himself. There is some champions, I think, in my opinion, that Ole Miss can take advantage of, that only they can take advantage of in this draft.
Yeah, that's been the real secret sauce on this Krabby Patty known as the Ole Miss team composition, right? They're able to flex these weird picks, and it works sometimes. Sometimes they overcook it a little bit, and they send Nautilus into the mid lane, but other times they're able to flex Galio into the bot lane. They play things like Yone and give it to Shogo, right? Now, when it comes to the bans, nothing too surprising here. 3 mid lane bans aimed at the Way of Sword. I think this is a great strategy, Shibby, because we talked about the strength of the Winthrop laners compared to the relative strength of Ole Miss's laners. What a great way to bash Sword at the kneecaps.
Yeah, quite literally. They caught him not paying his insurance, not paying his protection, and now Ole Miss is going to come in with a big TF bat right now. And this is the thing. It can be flexed, right? It can go mid, it can go top lane, but we don't actually know until we see Winthrop kind of really lock in some of their picks here. The Talia is very smart. You can flex that in the jungle, flex that into the mid lane, but this is already a good start for Ole Miss. Winthrop bands, pretty stock standard, right? You don't want to give Rumble to Stray. You don't want to give Callista and Kog'Maw, which Shogo has just been a dominant force on here. He will literally 1v9 on Kog'Maw if given the opportunity. But Winthrop, they're going to go for the tried and true combo. Vi Talia to put some lockdown onto Ole Miss, but I thought this would be the answer. Kindred, a pickup for Icelandic hero, and they've been doing some really weird compositions with it, right? The Azir Kindred shuffle, where you ult them out of the Lamb's Respite and kill them so they don't get the HP. Jinx being locked in. I like Ole Miss. I like what they're doing right now, but it feels like Winthrop just on paper have very solid go buttons.
Yeah, I really like the way this draft has presented itself, right? You get your first pick, Twisted Fate, you go and you get your global pressure, and then the answer on the other side is partial global pressure in this Talia combined with the strong combination of Talia Vi, but then, of course, Ole Miss's answer is equally as good. We're going to see Jax round out the composition here for Winthrop. That'll go up in the top lane. It's a champion that can survive a TF lane fairly okay and will have large impact later on in the game. Shibby, I'm very curious to see what these later bans are going to be because it feels like Ole Miss is going to have to pick something a little beefy and either give it to Rhino or to Uncle Sam. So this could be a Galio angle, perhaps.
It would be a Galio angle, although I always feel like Galio at least just kind of ults in and he's a free 450 gold bag, right? Like that's what happens, right? He ults in and I'm like, wait, it's going to be super impactful and he's just dead. It doesn't matter, right? There are just stronger champions. I know he got some buffs, guys. I know I'm not ignoring that, but I want to see something that disrupts this Winthrop team composition, right? That kind of puts them out of sync because the easy thing is R+R with Vi and Talia. You've got Jax flanking in potentially from, TP Ward. He's just going to jump in, flash, Counter-Strike, right? Dash in. They are going to ban the Galio away preemptively, so they still think this TF is going into the top side here. Winthrop smartly banning away the Karma, taking Marty's champion pool away a little bit. On the other side, we see a Varus and Rakan ban. Are we going to see the fated Lucian mobility plus Nami bot lane for Chookies?
So this is pretty interesting here. You know, this does mean that you have the opportunity to pair up Jinx and Melio, but then Jinx doesn't get the protections that she needs. So we are going to see a Gragas Nautilus come in here that gives you a little bit of that beef. There are a couple of options here for this Gragas, right? This could be an Uncle Sam Twisted Fate. I don't think I've recalled seeing him play Gragas in the mid lane. It's been a long time since seeing a Gragas in the mid lane, but this R5 Braum coming out for Winthrop. Good pickup here, especially pairing it with the Lucian.
And I love this Ole Miss kind of Gragas TF. Now we know where the order of the champions are going, but the ability to say, you know what? You actually don't even know where this Gragas and TF are going. At B5, you can be like, all right, well, is it going to go top? Is it going to go mid? Throwing that in there, Gragas into Jax. Yanni, you know how much I'm not a fan of Jax, right? I've gone over the builds with you. I've gone over the matchups. I feel like he doesn't really beat out any of the really popular top laners. And with the ability to scale now with the Gragas, the Roa tier builds that we've been seeing, I feel like he just kind of will outvalue Jax later on. And the ability to disrupt these team fights, right? The R plus R combo to throw the explosive cask and to buy space for Shogo, for Icelandic. This double AD carry composition, mind you, should scale well into the 25-30 minute mark, and that's where this comp can really start to take over. Not that they don't have the early game pieces with Uncle Sam having that Destiny Twisted Fate available to him.
These teams are ready to go at it. I like the changes that have been made to the Ole Miss draft just a little bit here. Shibi, you were wondering if the teams were going to pull out anything interesting, right? But it looks like Ole Miss, they are laying all their cards on the table here, putting Twisted Fate in the mid lane. Again, not something commonly seen out of Uncle Sam. I'm sure he's been on the practice grind. He's going to have a really big importance in this game, right? The plays and the onus, what Ole Miss is going to do, is going to rest on his shoulders.
And Yanni, we might just be scratching the surface of the Ole Miss mid laner champion pool or the Ole Miss draft, right?
Obviously, the Ole Miss iceberg, explained.
Yeah, the iceberg, right? Exactly. These two teams obviously are a shoo-in for nationals, right? Anybody in their right mind, as we do see a little bit of tomfoolery coming out from the bot lane, and Chookies actually misses that Q, and that's the go-ahead, right? Go back for more damage. But the point I wanted to make is I thought that these two teams would try to save strats for CLOL, but I feel like Ole Miss really wants to win this one, really needs that extra, I would say, dopamine coming into nationals to be like, oh yeah, we can beat this team, we can get over the hump, it isn't a mental block for us. So I feel like we're just scratching the surface of the Ole Miss iceberg, like you mentioned.
Yeah, they need the feather in their cap big time. This is a team that, on paper, they should be able to have an even record against, but they have not been able to get the job done. And that has to sting after a while. So this series is very important. You know, obviously, it's the finals. You want to be the champion. You want to be crowned the kings. It's just a matter of actually getting the job done early on. Shibi, what are you expecting out of these two junglers here? Because typically, Vi waits till level 6, and Icelandic Hero on Kindred would have to take some interesting gank paths in order to get something done.
I think she actually has a lot of good gank setup here. You've got a lot of CC in the top side, obviously Nautilus, like pretty much everywhere. You have to be afraid of like a flash body slam, a flash gold card, and that damage coming in from Icelandic. I think these lanes are very well set up for him to get some of those early stacks on if he decides to mark mid lane or top lane, but also you have the ability to roam to some of these stacks, right? Stray is almost always going to get top lane push or priority, so if any of those marks, mobility.
Yeah, it's a great hook. It's a great hook. And he puts back some damage, right? But that's important to note that they're keeping this Lucian behind early.
Yeah, I think it's a really big thing, and we can see the Jinx and Nautilus, Shogun, Rhino playing this lane to the best of their ability, and I mean, this is just what we expect. What I wanted to say is any of those marks potentially start back up is, as we say that, Rhino just takes a big chunk of damage. Lucian, Braum, a very classic lane to get the stacks off very easily, but Icelandic is here to cover, because if you're playing against Ole Miss, Yanni, what is the #1 thing you should be doing?
Ganking mid, apparently. Good flash Q from Watau, and its first blood picked up for Winthrop.
They're off script, right? I said they should 4-man bot if you're playing against Ole Miss, right? That's the typical script, but instead, they're going to take advantage of Uncle Sam, who has had his troubles, right? Dying early in the early game, right? As a mid laner, I feel like when you're on a champion like TF, you've got to play for your life. You've got to play very smart so you don't get too far set behind so that you can actually actively go into these roams. As we do have the replay coming in, Wakao just sneaks past any wardage, any sort of vision. The flash Q comes in, or the Q comes in, and they're just able to pick up that kill very easily. I'm surprised that, maybe no comms were given. Maybe Uncle Sam wasn't told that, hey, he's not bot lane. It's 3.5, 4 minutes in. He probably is coming mid. Uncle Sam just gets caught with his pants down and will pay for it with his life.
What's really interesting is that he burned the ghost, and based on the timing of it and how fast Watao flew in, I think Uncle Sam may have burned it to put some distance between himself and Sword as opposed to a reaction for the gank, right? There could just be a bit of bad luck there. We are seeing Twisted Fate on the roam down here, but has been spotted out by that ward. A pre-6 roam for Uncle Sam here, which you love to see, and he has a penchant of doing so, even at the risk of dropping waves.
Yeah, and we just saw the Void Grub spawning here. Let's see if they actually end up trying to go for it, as Uncle Sam is just getting rocks thrown right into his face right now. I feel like I'm back in middle school.
Yeah, Toph Beifong in the mid lane here, just doing whatever possible. Rhino, on the other hand, the double shot will be able to take him down. It's a straight-up 2v2 for the Winthrop bot lane, and here comes Icelandic Hero, but interrupted there by Watao. Icelandic Hero flashing forward, will be able to take out Sword. Now Watao's going to be the next target. Flash gold card, but Icelandic Hero stepped away for a minute, and now Chookies is on the way up. Doesn't look like they'll be able to turn this around, though.
And such a minor miscommunication from Ole Miss there. You saw Uncle Sam flashing in. Icelandic Hero was pathing back. He didn't want to go for that because bot lane or support just died. It allows Chucky to go up to that mid lane. It's a very cascading effect. If Rhino doesn't die or they live in the bot lane, Chookies can't go up. They can go for that play. But because that happens, they're only able to get Sword here, as we do see some artifacting. But I believe Dragon is being taken.
Stuff is happening. Watao is getting stunned. Watao is going down. But Chucky's mobility in the area. Here comes Talia. But now this is going to be a 4v3. But Icelandic Hero was left all alone with Sword, is able to take him out. Now it's a 3v3. Sword in the back of the pit. He's going to get hooked. And this should be a kill going over to Shogo. He will be able to take him out. Chucky's going to be the next target. Heal comes out. Gold card is there. Uncle Sam. No mana, no flash, no nothing. Dragon, will this be secured by the Land Sharks? Mobility wants to get some damage on, wants to get some kills. Shogo, the perfect flash. He's so low. Mobility. He gets rooted by the choppers. He dashes forward, flashes forward, takes out Uncle Sam. And now it's supportal combat, but Rhino will be able to limp away. Dragon secured for Ole Miss.
Dragon secured overall 2 for 3, right? I believe Wakao and Sword went down early on there. And realistically, you get the Dragon, you pay a lot, you get some kills. We get the replay coming in. And see how this starts off. Icelandic Hero, half HP. Wakao is just doing the Dragon by himself, does not respect the roam. And Rhino with a massive hook. But just look at the HP bars. Look at the health bars of Ole Miss. It's very hard for them to continue this. Uncle Sam has no mana, like you mentioned, has no summoner spells, and mobility constantly just fishing back and forth within the range of possibility to do damage. Rhino hits another big hook, but that Dragon is spraying and praying. The morning breath is hitting Ole Miss, and there's just not enough HP to work with. Like, they get the Dragon, mobility gets 2 kills to his name. Overall, not too bad for Ole Miss, but Winthrop doesn't come out of it without securing some bags.
Yeah, and the synergy between Mobility and Chookies is huge. Mobility getting close to the wall, so Chookies was able to hop over and save his flash for later in that fight. So he was able to get out of a sticky situation, just preventing as much gold as possible going over to Ole Miss. And again, they're picking on Uncle Sam. He's going to pop the ghost, but is he going to be able to find a way out? Icelandic Hero, he's trying to get close to him, but is unable to do so. Watao picks up yet another kill on the Ole Miss mid laner.
And you talked about the solo laners for Winthrop being able to perform, but Wakao is like, you know what? I can just bolster that real quick. I can just force a mid gap as long as I 2v1 him. And Uncle Sam has 3 deaths right now at the 8.5 minute mark. Has not been having a fun time here. I think he's building towards Roa. I see a Ruby Crystal and a Mana Crystal in his back pocket. The man doesn't even have real component items building into anything. He's been bullied out so much in this mid lane. When you look at take a look at the top, Stray and Denethor, the Gragas-Jax matchup going as expected, right? Gragas doing a fine job into the Jax.
Yeah, the ultimate neutralizer here. We'll see if Stray is the one to get neutralized. Denethor with flash available Can be here as a follow-up. Watao is going to take that Q, but elect to back off because no ultimate's available. That means Stray. Stray, get a little belly bump in there, my friend.
And Uncle Sam is on the roam time here. They should have seen him. There was a ward, but they might end up going for this bot lane, also scrapping.
Yeah, just a little bit of scrapping. Mobility going to dash forward, but that means he's going to be targeted by the knockup. Super Mega Death Rocket coming in. Mobility is going to go down. It's a shutdown going over to Shogo. Chucky's going to be the next target, but he's pulled in, and it's going to be a double kill for Shogo.
There's the 2v2 that we wanted to see. Level 6 ultimates coming out for both of these guys, and they get just the raw 2v2 kill here. And because Wakao, or Trickster, was seen on that top side, ooh, Icelandic Hero gets free reign on this bottom side, although Sword is trying to mitigate the losses, the damages of Wakao's jungle here. Icelandic Hero has to leave.
Yeah, he's got no bot lane here. He needs to be very careful. If Sword wants to commit the ultimate, it is possible. And he will do so. Icelandic Hero will be able to get to the other side, though.
I respect the play.
Why did the lamb cross the road, Chibi?
Because the Taliyah was on the other side, and the Vi, right? That's what was happening. Pillages the blue buff, but we got another look at that bot lane kill. And Yanni, take me through what happens here, because it's just an ult plus ult combo?
Yeah, Mobility just dashes when he really shouldn't after this short engage here, right? He gets engaged on, gets a little bit of damage out. We have the disengagement, and then he dashes towards Shogo. And he's just enraged to get knocked up.
And Chookies doesn't have the W available. It was, I believe, a second off there. If he's able to get that extra armor and MR, maybe Mobility and Chookies live that. But a really good play from them. And I know that Rhino and Shogo apparently don't even talk that much in bot lane. That was just an instinct play. Oh, he dashed. You ult, I ult, we're just going to kill him. They have brainwave telepathy going on between each other in that bot lane.
Ultra Instinct Rhino and Ultra Ego Shogo on the bot lane, am I right? That's all they need sometimes. And, you know, maybe that miscommunication, or lack of communication, I should say, does get the better of them at times. Remember that Mobility and Chookies did get the initial kill onto Rhino, but since then, I mean, you have this Jinx that's got 3 kills, that's up in CS. I'd say, despite Mobility getting 2 kills, this bot lane, this Lucian-based bot lane, has not had the results that you've wanted if you're Winthrop.
Yeah, you definitely want to keep this bot lane down, right? Jinx and Nautilus, you pick this Lucian up to really hammer it home. It's not like a Caitlyn where you get turret plates and everything like that, but you just trade aggressively, force backs early. As Icelandic Hero is here on that bottom side, Rhino tries to go for maybe a predict dash from Mobility. Dragon is up. I think Wakao is safe, though, on this one. He's not going to get jumped by a random Uncle Sam or Icelandic here. I could be wrong, though. They might be looking for a fight.
Icelandic Hero taking a full culling to the face. He's going to finally pop his ultimate, but Rhino, is he able to walk back into it? He gets knocked to the side, and he is able to go down. Shogo was the next target. Uncle Sam coming in, hitting the gold card. Exhaust going down on Shogo, but nothing further that can be done. Super Mega Death Rocket blocked away, keeping Chookies from crumbling.
Mobility ate the whole Shiatsu back massage.
This is a problem.
Mobility is redive.
Icelandic Hero has to flash, and he's going to fall. It's a 4v2. Shogo goes down. They managed to at least get 1 kill out of it. Uncle Sam trying to do what he can. Gold card goes out, and Mobility tanks it, flashes away. Will the minions take him down? Not quite. Heartbreak for Ole Miss in the bot lane.
What a killer instinct coming out from Winthrop. Rhino? Oh, do it to him. Do it to him. What? Wait. That was anticlimactic. As we get a replay here, the redive coming out from Winthrop. Uncle Sam just trying to do his best clearing the wave, but you look at Icelandic, look at Shogo. They are so low in HP, and you've got 4 pretty healthy members here. Yeah, Wakao gives his life, but you'll gladly do that to take down 3 members of Ole Miss, and that gold card just not able to pick up the kill. You thought the minions might be able to help him. Ole Miss minions not on their side. Really well played, but despite everything that's happened, despite Winthrop having the higher kill score and getting more plays across the map, it's only a 1,000 gold lead at the 13.5-minute mark.
And Shibby, one thing I want to talk about is you have to know that that play's going to happen, right? Taliyah roamed down, Vi roamed down, didn't have to use the ultimate hardly. I think the ultimate may have been up, not quite sure. But, I mean, you have to know that that dive is coming, right? You can't just be backing there with those low health bars. You have to run back to your inner turret. You have to give up plates there. Instead, you just give away more kills. A shutdown went over to Watao. Now he's got a Sundered Sky. This is the part of the game where it could really start tilting in Winthrop's favor.
And that gold differential that we talked about, right, is kind of sequestered onto mobility, right? He's got the full BF sword over Jinx right now. And as I say that, actually, Jinx is super far ahead, but he just doesn't have the items, right? It is just unfortunate that mobility has been able to kind of, get the item benefit off of him. But realistically, you look, it's actually mid lane. I apologize. Sword has a massive lead over Uncle Sam.
Yeah, the impact that Uncle Sam has had in this game has been largely pretty minimal, and that has to do a lot with Watao coming in and shutting him down early, putting him behind. Now, obviously, as the game goes on, Uncle Sam will be pretty useful. He's going to get tankier as that Rod of Ages comes through. Watao and Sword looking to potentially come through on the spot lane.
I can see Shogo typing right now.
Yep. Oh, pulls him over the wall, but a nice knockback, and the ultimate, the Lamb's Respite, comes out just a little bit too late. Culling going down. Oh! Icelandic Hero falls. It's 2 kills for Sword. They trade one back, but it goes to Rhino.
Yeah, nice dive, a nice shove out, and unfortunately, like you said, that Lamb's Respite actually working in the favor of Winthrop. Rhino hooking in, 3v2. I don't think they dive this, but real ballsy from Rhino here to kind of just stop some of the backs as we see Shogo back onto the map. I think he's just going to go mid lane to pick up the wave.
This is the part of the game, Shibby, where Ole Miss can start to fall apart a little bit, right? More gold in the pocket of Sword means bad things. And Denethor trading 1-for-1 in the top lane. They trade their flashes, but really it's been a pretty largely boring lane, so we didn't even expect to see any action going on up there.
Yeah, I mean, it's Gragas Jax, right? You know how it works is we do get the replay here. Stray and Denethor. We do have it here. So we see, let's see what happens. So Q comes in, Counter-Strike. I'm assuming the explosive casts get thrown here. Yeah, not even actually. Just full basic abilities. Yeah, the flash plus flash. As we come back to live, Ole Miss has actually ended up nabbing themselves the Rift Herald because camps are on the bottom side, because the mark is actually on that bot side. As we take a look at Icelandic Hero, 16 minutes in on this Kindred, 2 marks. Needs to get to that 4 stack as Uncle Sam might be caught out once again.
I don't think Uncle Sam expected mobility and Chookies to come from that direction, but Summoner's Burnt from the Twisted Fate. He will be able to walk it out. Meanwhile, on the top side, first turret going over to this Gragas. So if you're Ole Miss, I think you'll take that, right? You now have the gold lead back. You do have this Rift Herald in your back pocket if you see a good opportunity.
Yeah, but the thing is, how is Stray going to impact some of these fights? So they haven't really put too much pressure on Denethor. As I say that, he's just going to be able to come on out of there. But a big $700 paycheck going over into the hands of Ole Miss, potentially.
Yep, and they're going to have to try to globetrot their way around. Ultimate from Rhino coming out. They could get baited into this as Chookies and Mobility are here. Watao on the backside, ready to potentially start a fight. Takes the Q over the wall, is going to start targeting Rhino. Weaver's wall comes out. Rhino is going to hook and be able to be put on the other side. Sword going to try to deal as much damage as he can as Watao trying to chase some flash by Sword. We saw the Destiny come out from Twisted Fate, and they went to the mid lane. It does look like Ole Miss will be able to survive, as you said, and they get a mid turret for their troubles as well.
Oh, Ole Miss topside, swaying their hips back and forth, right? Like, come on, come on. We're so juicy. You can get the kills top lane. And Uncle Sam just popping the Destiny allows him to get tier 1 mid. Teleport does come in here. Let's see if it can actually make an impact.
Oh, Denethor looks like he might make an impact here. Counter-Strike going to come out. Only going to get Twisted Fate, but he gets on to Shogo. Meanwhile, on the other side, Watao on top of Icelandic Hero. Chookies and Mobility bringing up the rear. Denethor is here too. Icelandic Hero has run out of room. They may secure the dragon, but Denethor secures the kill onto Icelandic Hero even after a flash and a hop.
Denethor?
Wait a minute. And a smite and another hop. Get him, Denethor. There we go. Takes him down. They were also able to pick up Uncle Sam.
Yeah, they picked up Uncle Sam on that backside. He was running for his life. They get the dragon. He's Uncle Sad after the amount of mid lane ganks that have happened this game. But realistically, Ole Miss come out with a solid, 400 gold lead, 400 gold lead here. But I like the play that they did. They pop the Destiny Gate. They go for the objective trade in the mid lane. They take that. They don't lose any lives on the top side. Yeah, the TP comes in afterwards, but that is a mountain dragon to their name. I think Ole Miss is happy with that play. They don't love the end result, but overall, you look at it as a net benefit.
Yep, and guess what, Shibby? The gold is still dead even. Getting toward the 20-minute mark, these teams have not given up an inch. It's been a really impressive performance, and I think despite the fact that, let's call a spade, the mid-jungle duo from Ole Miss, currently sitting at 2-9-6. It's a KDA of just below 1. I'd say it hasn't been their best performances, but even then, the team still as a whole, rotation-wise, performing admirably.
Yeah, and you got to realize that they have the double 80 carry scaling in their back pocket. It is Kindred, it is Jinx. These guys are going to run team fights eventually. And the thing is, who do you have on the side of Winthrop, right? You've got Jax, who obviously scales pretty damn well. Sword can pump out a ton of damage. But once Uncle Sam can start getting those rapid fire cannon gold cards, whoever he hits should just be dead. Right, because the Nautilus ultimate will come out, depth charge, Jinx rocket. There is so much front-loaded damage coming onto that gold-carded target that guy should be down in an instant. And then you guess what? Jinx is going to start resetting. She's going to get excited, and then the team fights ran over. As we do see a potential play coming out from Ole Miss, but it does get staved off as the Destiny Gate does get popped. They want to go for Denethor in the bot side.
Yeah, let's see if they're able to make that play. It looked like Denethor was able to hop over the wall with no problem. We'll see if Watao wants a piece of Ole Miss here, because take a look at that build. Very much indexing into anti-Icelandic Hero and anti-Shogo this game. Randuin's plus plated steel caps plus Sundered Sky. This is going to be a tough fight to take down.
Yeah, Sword does get the hop back onto him, but I love
Uncle
this.
Sam taking a lot of damage. He could be in trouble. Does burn the ghost and will be able to sprint out of there.
And the cool thing about the Randuins is whoever he's ulting is going to be slowed for infinity, right? Most likely the Legos are going to come down. The Randuin's Omen is going to slow him down. Even if you're excited, you're going to be very, very slow here. And that's going to allow for more of these abilities, for more time for mobility on this Lucian to get in and get out with his short-ranged abilities, right? Lucian has to really play the ranged Lucian game effectively to get off a lot of his damage. Jinx with the lethal tempo, with the rockets, can pelt you from a safer distance away and still pump out tons of damage. So I like that Winthrop is indexing into what they're strong in, both with their itemization and understanding like, hey, for us to win these team fights, we've got to put a stop to either Jinx or Kindred at the beginning of these team fights.
It's exactly what they have in mind, Shibby. So we're just about a minute and 20 seconds away from this next dragon. Ole Miss looking to put themselves onto 3 Drakes, I'm sure. See Icelandic Hero take a nice back at this time, which means he should be well prepared for that fight. And Shogo's on a 2-item power spike right now. I think this is Ole Miss's time, their best time, to maybe go ahead and win a nice little cheeky fight here.
Yeah, but you look at the mid jungle itemization. One item in a dream, right? For Uncle Sam and Icelandic. The rapid fire cannon is so crucial for them to get some of these picks to potentially find mobility out of position, Sword out of position. Even Wakal, who's been aggressively queuing in, I think they're going to give up this dragon and instead look for Sword here.
Yeah, and that's okay. If they're able to find Sword, Flash Gold card will land. Rhino lands the hook on top of it as well. They're over the wall to hop over. It's 1,000 gold
30
shutdown
seconds.
Going over to Icelandic Hero. That is massive.
Yeah, and also it's 30 seconds prior to the drag. They've got a numbers advantage. Yes, Sword has the TP. There's going to be a 5-second delay. Let's see if they can use this to their advantage to make another play.
This is what they're going to do. Teleport coming in. Destiny is out as well. So they're well positioned here. Gold card available. Culling coming out, but Rhino not taking a whole lot of damage. He's going to land the hook onto Chookies. Chookies is going to be the target, but he's going to be able to soak up a lot of damage. Meanwhile, Shogo sidestepping the ultimate, doing what he can. Gragas Barrel not going to do a whole lot, but it does get Ole Miss control here. They burn a lot for it. Sword in 10 seconds with teleport in tow.
Teleport and ultimate in tow. They've got to be wary of this. Ole Miss, you made your play, you made your move, you tried to get another pick to set yourselves up for this dragon, but I think you got to give it away. Rhino
in so much trouble, forced the flash over the wall. Denethor gonna stun him up. Sword has made it to the fight, and they're gonna be able to take down Rhino. But Denethor taking a lot of damage himself. Icelandic Hero up front takes Vi over the wall with him. Now Watao is completely trapped. Surviving the silver HP, but Uncle Sam claims the kill. Denethor coming in, big counter strike with the ultimate out for Icelandic Hero. Meanwhile, Shogo is free hitting on the side, but not a whole lot of damage. Uncle Sam's gonna fall. Straight force to flash.
Oh, mobility!
And now 1v1, and mobility comes up big. 99 overall, 80 carry violence.
Ooh, Chookies, it's a massive Braum Q, I believe, over the wall, and that's the go button. Mobility just unloads onto him. A hectic team fight that starts with Rhino getting caught backing in the bush, has to flash, but they're on the back foot. They're constantly trying to figure out who to focus down. They get the kill onto Wakal, but the HP bars are low. Winthrop sees blood in the water, and they just go for it here. They get a ton of gold in their pockets. They pick up the objective as well. I talked about Ole Miss using their move earlier on in the mid lane, and this is how the fight starts. Look at Denethor just jumping in with the counter-strike, and look at the HP bars. Rhino, your main engage, the guy who gets these picks is already down, and yeah, Wakao follows them over the wall. But once the Lamb's Respite is used, and once everybody's back in order, look at the clump of Winthrop versus Ole Miss. Shogo's over the wall and just unable to get as much damage as possible. And once that Q hits, Mobility flies over, gets the stun, gets the kill, and Winthrop just played better together as a four-man unit.
Yeah, it was a messy fight coming out from the Land Sharks, and a lot of it had to do with the positioning of Rhino there. Thought he was safe, but not so, and even still, this game is still quite close, but you see you've got 3 items for Sword, Mobility on 2.5 items, as well as Shogo. It's pretty evened up there. Icelandic Hero going to do what he can, but Icelandic Hero gets absolutely blown up. A miscue from the Ole Miss jungler. This could mean Baron for Winthrop.
Flew over the wall, and that was the trigger for Wakao to go in. You know what? I think you're just dead here. Your team's nowhere near you, and fortunately no punch back, and with a free jungler being gifted over to Winthrop, that's the go button, right? Why not just take the Baron? They can't contest it. They can't do anything about it. Maybe a Jinx Rocket might be able to stop something?
I don't know if this Jinx Rocket is going to come out here. It looks like Shogo is waiting for something, but realizing there probably wasn't a good time to throw it. And that is going to be Baron for Winthrop here. Shibby, this could spell the death knell for Ole Miss. They need to lock things down and quickly to stop the bleeding.
Yeah, and that jungle pick or that gift of Kindred over to Winthrop might be the one that breaks the back here for Ole Miss, right? It was still slightly manageable prior to this Baron, prior to a lot of that stuff. Yeah, the team fight around that dragon went over, but now you're staring down a 5,000 gold lead, and Winthrop, they're far ahead. Like, they're good, right? They're beating the scaling curve of Ole Miss. We talked about the double 80 carry composition and how that scales well later into the game. But if you're ahead of the damage curve, if you're ahead of the Jinx, if you're ahead of the Kindred, you don't have to worry about that. As you look across the gold, just look at that. Almost all of that gold, 5,000 in the pockets of Sword. He's so far ahead of Twisted Fate right now.
Yeah, I mean, 3 of the members of Winthrop in double figures here. Compared to just 1 of Ole Miss, and it's the guy that you expect in Shogo. He's starting to get to the spot where he can carry, but he doesn't have the sort of offensive line that Mobility does on the other side, right? With Chook, he's able to eat a lot. With Tao, able to eat a lot of damage as well. It's only Rhino that can do that, and Rhino's the one typically going forward.
Yeah, he's usually getting those picks off as they're going to start looking for a play. I think the big thing about Ole Miss is they don't actually stop looking for plays when they're in situations like this. They can kind of seemingly pull picks out of a hat, like a wizard with rabbits out of their magic hat, right? They're able to find these kinds of picks here. If they can get that done, if they can stifle the Winthrop push here, they can stabilize and maybe, just maybe, start winning out around the 4-item mark, because Jinx Kindred still scales very, very well.
Yeah, Shibby, they're going to need to lock all windows and doors, but they've given up 3 inner turrets. The hook goes down onto Denethor. See if he wants to go in for it. They're going to try to turn this one around as Talia's not there. Chuki's going to be the main target. Chuki stays alive for a while, but he goes down. But Rhino's going to be put on the wrong side of the wall. But Shogo able to free hit. Uncle Sam from behind. They're looking for more. Good flash. Straight with a big belly. Take it out too. Shogo is ready to pop off, but Icelandic Hero saves the opposing jungler. But that means Shogo is just going to have plenty of time to free hit. It's a quadra kill for a 99 overall AD carry. They're trading shots back and forth, Chibi.
And I talked about Ole Miss's ability to keep looking for plays. As we get the replay, just look at this, right? I was worried about Trickster coming in as we get no signal. Elgato says, you know what? We're not allowed. Wait a minute. What has happened?
Oh, no. Okay. We know the game is going to be over soon, I guess. Let's spoil it, but we don't know who wins.
Find out next time on
Find out in the next 3 minutes on NECC, apparently, right? And after that quadra kill from Shogo, I don't know who's going to win, Shibby. Honestly, if you were to ask me, I would have, before that fight, I would have thought it's Winthrop, but now I got no idea, man.
And I want to highlight, when we were going to go to that replay, the flash belly bump from Stray to get the follow-up. Rhino hooks in. Knowing his life is going to be gone, right? Like, he's got to just get it onto Mobility here. The port coming out from Uncle Sam to distract some of the Winthrop members doesn't actually, do too much, but it gives enough time for Stray to get the two-man CC, to get the kills, and with 4 kills to his name, Jinx has 4 items.
Chucky's not taking a whole lot of damage, but a great cast is going to split him off from everybody else. He flashes away, but he goes down regardless. Icelandic hero able to get that kill. Denethor's not even close. Sword's gone golden, but he's going to die. He falls too. A double kill for Icelandic hero, and Ole Miss looking to swipe themselves up a 3rd dragon.
Nice plays, really good pick potential. We talked
Uncle
about Uncle
Sam.
Sam.
Oh, what are we doing here? He's going to get stunned. Denethor realizes that any attempt that he has to do to try to help will be forfeit, and now Ole Miss complete control of the map.
Staggered death timers, right, Chucky? 10 seconds in, but Sword and Wakao, a lot of their main wave clear is gone, right? They don't have that ability. Mobility is super short range. Is he going to be able to take these turrets out? We've seen Ole Miss in these situations before. They've knocked on the doors of Winthrop many a times and have failed. Can they close this game out? Jinx is getting excited. They're actually just going to back out here. All right. Let's calm our horses a little bit. I was just getting too excited, Yanni.
Yeah, you're looking like Jinx out here, right? Now, they didn't knock down the door, but they certainly put a damn good dent in it, right? That door is cracked. You're looking at it, and you're like, well, this is going to be my next DIY, home project next weekend or something like that. Going to have to go to Home Depot and grab some spackle. They need to also get something that's going to repair the broken team that is Winthrop right now, Shibby. They have not been linked together at all.
Remind me to make sure my girlfriend doesn't watch this broadcast, because you're going to give her some ideas, and then my weekends are going to be shot, Yanni. No more DIY projects. I'm done.
You do DIY projects?
Yeah, of course.
What do you
do? Anything for my girlfriend. Cabinets. Can we talk about the game? Can we talk about the game here? Because Ole Miss need to mount a very big lead here. They've got to try to push in, as now Rhino's going to die.
Rhino taking a lot of damage, but he's still alive for right now. Gragas casket to keep him alive even longer. There's a kill going over to Shogo. Choki's the next target. Isolating Hero gets the kill. Denethor's on the backside, but he's all alone. He gets CC locked for days, and he's not in the circle. It's a shutdown for Shogo. The Baron's coming up. Shibby, I have a feeling we might know who's going to come out on top this game.
Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't you dare. Don't put that hex, that curse onto Ole Miss. They are going to be able to get this Baron. They are going to project themselves, and we're 30 minutes into the game, Yanni. Remember what I was talking about the double 80 carry scaling of Ole Miss, and how if you get into a bar brawl that lasts too long, they're just going to come out on top and outvalue you? Well, Icelandic's at 3 items. Shogo's cresting upon his final item here, and once that gold card comes out, once the CC chain gets locked in, you are down and out for the count, and Jinx gets a reset. She starts taking over the fights. Lethal tempo, rockets. You see the amount of damage that can come out once the first member of Winthrop goes down here. Ole Miss standing strong, looking for plays, looking for opportunities, knowing that their comp is going to win eventually. This is the Ole Miss that we like to see, and this is the resiliency that we want to see from them to take this series over Winthrop.
An incredibly tight-knit team, but can the power of friendship defeat the Demon Lords known as Winthrop here in Game 1? Stray from an angle, big body slam there. Mobility forced to flash, forced to heal. Denethor gonna go in, but Stray goes golden, so does Sword, and that means Sword's in trouble. This turret's gonna go down. Shogo is free hitting once again. He's got 1 kill. He's got 2 kills. Denethor gonna be the next target. He's counter-striked in the middle of everyone, but look at the rockets firing away. Triple kill for Shogo. They're in the base of Winthrop right now. It looks like Ole Miss, they went. And how hard season against Winthrop so far. 7 games, they've lost 6 of them, but now they claim their 2nd win and lead the series 1-0.
33-minute banger back and forth from Winthrop and Ole Miss. If this is just game 1, Yanni, if this is just game 1, I need to know the rest of the series. I need to go get some medication. My asthma's acting up. I gotta get something, because realistically, we're in for a potential 5-game banger from both of these teams. Well played to Ole Miss for taking that game 1. They put their heels on their double 80 carry composition. They put their faith in Shogo, and he delivered. Winthrop, unfortunate, unable to close out here. They had a 5,000 gold lead at one point, right? They were looking up. They had some nice plays. They found some nice picks, but that bottom lane fight from Ole Miss to swing everything around. The CC chain from, Rhino and Stray to get things going puts a lot of gold into Shogo's pocket, and from there on you are rewarded, right? You give your sacrifices, you give your gold, you give the kills over, and you will be handsomely rewarded on Ole Miss's side.
Pay your tithes to King Shogo. Hear ye, give him all of your shillings, and he will lead you into the future. He will lead you to series victories. Ole Miss leading 1-0, and they're hoping that they pay their tithes 2 more times in this series, but I have a feeling that Winthrop will not go down quietly, Shibby. We are going to take a very short break after that pulse-pounding game, and when we return, we're going to give you the Game 2 draft between these two titans of CLOL, Ole Miss, Winthrop. You're not going to want to miss it. Welcome back, everybody, to the NECC CLOL Conference Finals, best of 5 between Ole Miss and Winthrop. Shibby, we saw a fantastic game 1 that was so damn close either way. And we've said this so many times, but now we get to say it the other way. Ole Miss were the ones to be able to outlast Winthrop this time around. They have a series lead.
Yeah, and they were down in gold for a bit too, right? Almost was a 5,000 gold lead for Winthrop. It swung 8K back in the favor of Ole Miss, and that was just relying on their composition, right? For people that are just joining us, Ole Miss drafted, TF in the top lane. They had, Gragas in the top lane, TF in the mid. They had a Nautilus, Jinx in the bottom lane, and they also had Kindred for Icelandic Hero, so a double 80 carry composition coming out that scales well into the 25, 28, 30 minute mark, and Winthrop had a solid early game, right? They were making plays, they had dives onto the bottom side. I think there was 2 or 3 instances where it was a 4-man bot. They're able to get a bunch of early kills. Mobility and Chookies had a pretty solid showing in that bottom side with the Lucian, with the Braum, a very classic pairing, but just unfortunately, team of Winthrop weren't able to close it out, and Ole Miss just found opportunities to make picks, to find those numbers advantages and just blow somebody up. And once that happens, the Jinx got excited, took over team fights. I think Shogo ended up at like 6 items or full build at the end of this 30-minute game.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. He was a very, very rich boy. And one really interesting thing, Shibby, we didn't really see a whole lot of the level 6 Vi Talia combo. We saw them obviously make plays onto Uncle Sam, but we didn't really see any happen anywhere else. One other important thing, how many times did you see Vi use cease and desist on Jinx?
Just don't think there was an opportunity, right? I think realistically, with the way Shogo was positioning and behind his kind of tanky-ish front line, we'll say, behind the Gragas, the fear for Wakao is if I go this deep into the Jinx team composition, am I not just feeding myself a reset? Sometimes you saw that, right? He would go in, pile into somebody like Uncle Sam, like Icelandic Hero, the Lamb's Respite would come out, Wakao would go down to 25% HP or 10% HP, and then Jinx would finish it off, and then the fight would get going for Ole Miss. I think the Talia Vi combo, albeit very strong early on, and they put a lot of pressure onto Ole Miss, it was never Uncle Sam's job to carry this game. His job was to set his team up for success, get the gold cards. The rapid fire cannon was the big spike for me because he was sitting on Roa plus components for a good chunk of that game. Once the RFC came out, he's able to set up his team, and the rest is history, right? Then that's where you get the follow-up from Rhino, the follow-up from Stray, who did a fantastic job later in these fights, getting the double belly bump, getting the explosive cast to spread everybody out and isolate targets. So I like what Ole Miss went for, and the good thing about this, I'll say good thing for Ole Miss, is that, Yanni, we're not in Fearless. They can just run it back if they want.
Yeah, and one other thing. That composition is a little difficult to execute. We really preach ease of execution, right? And no matter how good or bad a team may be, and they made it work. It was really impressive stuff from them. Shibby, I'm interested to see what they are going to pull out here for the Game 2 draft, as Winthrop has chosen to go on the red side. So Ole Miss may be able to get a very similar draft out this time around. We'll see if the bans are going to be relatively the same. Do you think we're going to see any trauma bans? I know that you're a big fan of those. I don't necessarily think anything more than Jinx would be something you have to really take out, but even then, you can keep Shogo down sometimes.
Triple 80 carry bans? What does that say about a 9980 carry like mobility potentially? Right? I'm just joking. I'm just stirring the pot a little bit here, but I think that could be possible. Right? Yeah. I agree. I think the pendulum has swung back and forth between these two guys, battling it out. But I think you can keep the same bans. I think Winthrop, they can let Ole Miss run that comp and say, you know what? If we have an answer to it, let's pick it out, right? If it's like a very auto attack heavy based composition, maybe you can run the Jax into the jungle, flex that over, give Denethor last pick right onto Ole Miss's composition here potentially, give him the counter pick. But I don't think Ole Miss want to really change how they want to approach draft. Triple banning mid laners is fine, right? Maybe they swap the Talia for instead of maybe like the Orianna or the Ahri and take that away from Sword's repertoire. The Nico, he's never going to get that. I don't think you should give it to him. He's also been a big proponent of the Aurelion Soul. But the funny thing here is that we haven't even seen Uncle Sam's Azir yet. A champion that he has put tons of hours in has yet to be unleashed in this best of 5.
Yeah, he's really good at it too. But keeping that one in the back pocket for now. But it was only game one, right? So we'll see if we happen to see it this time around. Same bans. So with these teams clearly very happy with the drafts that they got. And why not, right? I mean, this game was very, very close. Winthrop had advantages, weren't able to convert. Ole Miss had advantages, were able to convert those. You know, it feels like if you were to salty run back this game 10 times, the teams would go 5-5 against each other.
Yeah, potentially, as we see the B1 Twisted Fate coming in once again. Like I said, one of Ole Miss's biggest strengths that they're able to flex some of these B1 picks between their laners and keep Red Side on their toes until the very last second, right? And it's very, very difficult to try to draft and try to predict where these guys are going. Sometimes it's a coin flip as the Rise does come out here, and Uncle Sam was having some trouble against this champion, against other mid laners. Let's see if he's found the secret sauce to lane into Rise here. Some late game insurance for Winthrop, for Sword specifically.
Yeah, and Rise too just is able to shove in a wave a little bit faster than Twisted Fate early if you're not going AD Twisted Fate. And then by the time you can kind of just go equal, it doesn't really matter, right? Rise is just so tanky too later on. It's a champion that's quite difficult to deal with, but is exposable, right, in the early game. So we'll see if Ole Miss pull the soul switcheroo on Winthrop here, and they're the ones ganking mid lane. You see, we're going to see a Jax and a Jinx come back once again in this game, and a Poppy in response to that Jax.
Yeah, and, you know, we all think that this Jax is probably going to go into the jungle, but, you know, Twisted Fate can go top side. You can throw it mid. There's a lot of flexibility. Realistically, we only kind of know where the Jinx is going. While on the side of Winthrop, they've put their cards face up, right? Rise is going mid lane. Nautilus is going support. It might be farming Nautilus if they opt in for Senna here, potentially. But realistically, yeah, this Poppy's going to go into the jungle here. Is we're going to see some more 80 carry bans, removing the Varus, removing some of these power picks. Rakan doesn't need to be banned out here because the support has been locked in for Chucky so early. But Rhino's going to have to give us something else. Is he going to opt in for the Braum? That's such a good lane counter into Nautilus. Or are we going to see something a little bit more spicier? Maybe a Rhino special pick. Maybe something like the Sejuani support potentially.
And we'll see what this final ban is going to be. It looks like it's going to be Camille here. That leads me to believe that this Jax may not be going in top lane, and it may be going to Icelandic Hero in the jungle. Because, you know, we've seen Camille against squishy champions, and you give a player like Denethor as best champion, will be able to take full advantage. Zeri going to come in here for Winthrop, so Ole Miss is going to need a little bit more lockdown to be able to handle this slippery electric beast known as Zeri.
Yeah, as we do see Braum being rotated, and, you know, one could argue that, like, gold card is enough lockdown, right? It is point and click CC. Some would argue you want something like a Vi. Nautilus, obviously, in the hands of Ole Miss would be really good, would maybe prevent the Zeri pick, but instead, they're going to rock the way into the mid lane here. So Icelandic Hero is going to be piloting the Jax, and this Twisted Fate who was once in the hands of Uncle Sam is now gonna go into the hands of Stray. I wanted to say bless you, and the ending of bless you, but Uncle, we're gonna walk past that. We're gonna just breeze right on past as we see the Malphite being locked in for Denethor. Solid pick, right? Jumps onto Shogo with ease, jumps onto Stray.
And it's
Ahoy.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, this is good. Obviously, you know, Denethor playing Rockman is, is a little boring, but that's okay, right? Doesn't matter how flashy it is, doesn't matter how much fun you have. When you play competitive League of Legends, you only care about winning, right? You are not in the fun zone anymore, Denethor. And guess what? None of Ole Miss is going to be in the fun zone, as we do see the way the lanes shake out. No surprise that it was going to be Twisted Fate top. Way in the mid lane, that is another new one here for Uncle Sam.
Yeah, I mean, he's gone to the drawing board, because he's playing away. Come on. We got to laugh at that one. He's gone to the drawing board. He's gone into the kitchen, the shop. He's been cooking, and I've heard inklings of him picking up other champions. Uncle Sam Hui potentially coming into Rise here. But I think the big thing to note is that Shogo's life is going to be a living hell, right? It's Nautilus, it's Poppy, it's Malphite. how do you, if you don't have flash, like, you're kind of donezo.
Even if you do have flash, right? It's hard to flash it even with good reactions, right? These players ain't boomers. You know, they've still got solid reaction times, but even then, it's going to be really, really hard to try to get away here. I believe this is a pause. It looks like Braum is in mid-movement here. Things look to be not moving, but that's okay. That means that things will be moving quite soon. So this Poppy into Jax, I think that's a really, really solid pick here from Watao. The ability to gank is severely reduced given what your solo laners are.
Yeah, I think once level 6 pops up, I think the real reality of the situation is that Winthrop is going to look to control Sidewave really, really well. Realm Warp is a big tool, a solid tool to obviously 4-man dive bot lane, but later on to the game, catch out somebody like Stray, catch out somebody like Uncle Sam on a Sidewave and say, you know what, we're going to port a Malphite onto you, we're going to port mobility onto you, and we're just going to run you down. And I think that's what we're going to look for later on in the game. Once laning phase is over, how is Sword and Winthrop going to pilot this rise and get the numbers advantage in the side lanes to then levy those into objectives, right? 30 seconds prior to Dragon, a minute maybe prior to Dragon, to allow that setup. That's what I'm going to be looking for out of Sword and out of Winthrop, and the response from Ole Miss and the ability to play around it is going to be crucial.
I think a lot of this is, both of these teams, they're kind of fairly weak at that time, right? There's a lot of scaling on both of these sides, save for the Nautilus and the the Malphite and the Poppy on the top side of Winthrop. But on Ole Miss, it's going to take some time for these champions to develop a little bit. And especially with the way that Winthrop can team fight, you do need to be very careful about giving away early objectives. As Hook goes down onto Rhino, he's able to put up his shield and will be able to survive with relative ease.
Watao is here. Uh-oh. Yeah, he's got to flash that because the potential flash E into the wall is there. And once again, another flash. Oh, man. Is it a bargain bin sale?
Let's see, are they going to turn on the Shookies? Watao is on his way, but he's very far away, getting as much damage onto Shookies as possible. There was a first blood in the mid lane as well. Watao, there's no flash available on to Shogo, but Rhino has that flash available. Nice prediction attempt there by Shookies. So it looks like trying to turn this around. Shookies is one shot, but again, there's no flash onto Shogo.
Yeah, and lethal tempo range is just not enough, but overall, Winthrop investing 3. I can already see Shogo typing wolf in all chat right now. Like he's that's what he's doing, right? That's what he does. You've sent 3, you haven't been able to get a kill. You've got to send more here when you come for the head of the king. As Ole Miss is doing pretty fine navigating the early game right now, although flash blown in the mid lane is worrisome because Wakao, or Trickster, has his available.
Yeah, and that just means Trickster can kind of style on them a little bit. In any way, shape, or form, right? As long as you're near a wall, you are in the danger zone.
Yeah. We'll see how Uncle Sam navigates this early game. Has been the more susceptible one to ganks, to this mid 2v2 pressure. I signed Akiro, though, on this Jax has had some pretty solid performances in the past, right? Has been able to get these really nice flash QEs onto the backline, onto the right targets, and just kind of is a menace, right, in the back line. So we'll see how Ole Miss kind of navigates this. As Dragon, he's going to be coming up in 35 seconds, and it looks like Icelandic Hero is going to be here potentially. We'll see if these bottom lanes and the jungles actually end up dueling it out and dueling for control of this first Dragon.
Yeah, and you've got a bunch of control when there's a bunch of flashes down, right? Watao has flash, Mobility has flash, Chookies has flash. If they're able to make a nice play here as they land a hook onto the Braum with Watao in tow, but Icelandic Hero here for the counter. Watao flashes over the wall, pushes Shogo a little bit closer to the rest of the team. Icelandic Hero, can he get the counter-strike off? Flash for flash, they target Chookies, and it's going to be a kill going over to Shogo. Fantastically played by Ole Miss.
Nice, from Icelandic specifically, right? Peering into the future and saying, you know what, I know you're going to be bot lane. Gets the counter-strike, flash counter-strike in, and that's going to wrestle them control of this early Dragon here, which is going to be Chemtech, not the most impactful, but still, a kill into Shogo's pocket. You're always happy to get those.
Yeah, he downloaded Watao there, right? I know you love to use that. He might have gotten the free trial of the Watao download because it's so early into the game, but it's just a really, really nice play as you saw peered into his pondering orb.
Yeah, 10-minute free trial, right? Early jungle. To buy the whole thing, you got to go back to the Winthrop shop, download the USB stick, and stick it straight into your ear. But so far, Icelandic doing a good job on this Jax, and they're going to try to go for the trade of the Grubs for Dragon. Should be okay. Sword has pushed Uncle Sam in, and Stray isn't really going to be able to contest it, even with level 6. So pretty stock standard from Winthrop here. I can't wait for the Grub changes to come in where they offset the timers and we potentially see more fighting from teams, because I'm sick and tired of the Dragon Grub trade. I'm going to be real.
Yeah, I am too. You know, it sucks because it's just such an even play sometimes, and other times it's just like very bad for one team or very good for one team. And you know, at that point it's just uninteractive because the Dragons are just so generally good. Even with this Dragon being relatively poor, being able to get closer to like Soul Point and things like that, quite important.
And Riot Games heard you talking that mess. They're like, all right, you complaining about League of Legends?
I'm sorry, I messed
None
up.
for you. Something's happening in the mid lane, or the top
Something's
side,
happening
actually.
in the top lane. Stray is very low. I heard some flashes go off here, and when the dust settles, it's Denethor who's the one who gets the kill.
Oh, and
Uncle Sam is in a lot of trouble. I can see what's happening here. Uncle Sam gets pushed closer to the turret. He's very low, but the counter strike over the wall. Two low targets.
Did they get him?
Is Poppy gonna die? I don't know, Shibby. What dimension are we in?
We're in Hui's water painting dimension right now.
No,
like, literally.
we're in the water paints.
Oh no! All right.
He did go down. They are able to pick up Sword here as well. Ole Miss with a slight kill lead, and Stray was able to make a play happen after dying, coming back, using his ultimate to get to the mid lane.
Yeah, and I think really Uncle Sam living that mid lane play was the big differential, because you saw Icelandic Hero once again being on the counter gang, right? Like, Wakao just cannot get rid of this guy. He cannot shake Icelandic, as Rhino is going to eat a big hook, is going to be able to come back out. But a 2-for-0 play, yeah, Wakao died and Sword died here. Big kills, too, going on to Icelandic. Rhino?
Oh, the hook misses on to Shogo. He does have flash, but he's got that ghost that's still active, so he's able to outrun everybody else. Watao is just not really making hay on these ganks, right? Good positions, but unable to do anything more.
And Poppy was essentially picked because of the engage, right? Because to deny Icelandic entry into these fights. But realistically, Icelandic has just been able to counter all of these ganks. He's been farming up really well. He's got solid efficiency on his camps. Bot lane play.
Rhino stuck under the turret, but he's not taking a whole lot of damage. Now Watao is in trouble, and he goes down. It's another kill going over to Shogo.
And this has been something of Wakao recently, right? I feel like it kind of started during Spring Promo Tournament, right? When we saw them competing in there, it felt like Trickster kind of forces a little bit too much. We saw it on the Vi earlier. Yesterday's game against Fisher, the one when they were able to take it in the series. There was just moments where Trickster would just go a little too deep or try to force something and end up giving his life for nothing. And Ole Miss have been taking perfect advantage of that. A risky dive that results in another kill going over to Shogo's pockets. Ole Miss weathering the early game storm of Winthrop and coming out on top.
Watao living up to his namesake here, and Shibby, I'm not sure if it's a storm. It might just be a little bit of a drizzle, to be honest. But we'll see if Watao can make up for his earlier gaffes here, as Stray doesn't have very many places to go. This should be a pretty easy one. Just depends on who's going to get it. It's going to be Denethor with kill number 2. You're going to want him to get that armor.
What are you more afraid of, Yanni? A 2-0 Malphite or a 2-0 Jinx? I mean, realistically, Winthrop mirroring or kind of like this, using the same strategy that they did in game 1. They're attacking the Twisted Fate lane. But this game's not about Twisted Fate carrying. It's about setting his team up for the rest of his players to get damage down, right? For the rest of his team to do work. As Icelandic...
This is a 3-level difference, Icelandic.
Yeah, that guy hurts. He's got enough armor to slap you back into the fountain. But realistically, Stray is... he's going to go static. He's going to go rapid fire cannon. He's going to set his team up. The damage is going to come out from Uncle Sam, from Shogo. So yeah, you can attack the Twisted Fate lane. You can put a bunch of kills onto Malphite. But realistically, the carry threats of Ole Miss are peachy.
Oh, this is a perfect hook that goes on to Shogo, but good protection here from his support. Shogo forced the flash away. Mobility and Chuki's A pretty good job there, and look
a bot.
at Winthrop in position again. You don't know where they are. This time Shogo is trying to back off. It's just a little bit too late. He's rooted against the wall. The big double knockup is there. They're trying to make sure it goes over to the carry. He's very low in the last auto attack. It's a shutdown going over to Sword. The hook comes in. Mobility takes out Rhino, but Uncle Sam putting a lot of damage down. Spiraling Despair onto Watao. It bursts, but it doesn't quite kill him. Nice sidestep there from Watao, but Icelandic Hero coming around. He's on a ward. Looks like he will stop the assault for now.
Unfortunately, there was no TP available. Rocket came in, hits Chucky on the way out, but a nice dive, burning the sums, taking the HP down from Ole Miss, and then just re-diving with Sword, who has that push in the mid lane, along with Wakao. A well-executed dive. As we take a look back at it, just look at what they're doing, right? They're already so low. They've sent 4 back, and, you know, well played to Rhino and Shogo. They try to stall it out as much as possible. The shield coming in from Braum here, but it's just unfortunate that they can't get any more kills on the back end. Maybe if Shogo has a little bit more HP, they're able to turn that or stall out far enough and make it an even play. But with the reset coming in from Winthrop after that play, Icelandic's able to get the dragon. We go on to Mountain Soul for the menu, and they're 2 dragons up, and giving Mountain Soul to a team like Ole Miss might just spell the end for Winthrop here.
Yeah, by the way, Stray died in the top lane, and you know, you mentioned with Mountain Soul being the dragon, if Winthrop are able to pick up these Mountain Drakes, right, you don't even need to get the soul. Just picking up a couple is going to be so impactful for this Malphite, because guess what? You know, this Uncle Sam's got a fair amount of damage, but nothing too scary. Stray is barely doing anything right now, and being able to minimize a lot of Icelandic Hero's damage and almost all of Shogo's damage is going to be the name of the game as the game progresses.
Yeah, we talked about how tough of a game it'll be for Shogo. Malphite, Nautilus, Poppy even, right, who's able to jump onto you. It's tough, right? You've got Rhino, and that's kind of about it, who's able to protect you here. So it's going to be up to this bot lane duo to pick up the pieces and carry through these team fights. Uncle Sam on this way. Been pretty solid. I can't, you know, really fault him. He's been landing the abilities, been able to do what he can as we see a potential dive onto Sword now.
Sword is going to be in trouble. This is a great CC chain. They're going to be able to pick this guy up. Stray is going to get the kill, but here comes the rest of the squad. Hui trying to do what they can on the backside. Mobility just gets soloed out. Watao falls next. Uncle Sam with a beautifully timed roam coming up huge.
Yeah, they tried to counter the play onto Sword. They tried to maybe catch them out of position, but we see Uncle Sam coming in from the backside, and that claw right there just doing tons of damage. Uncle Sam!
Yeah. Oh, the burst damage. Are they able to get Chookies? Do you have QW, Uncle Sam? No Severing Bolt available. Chookies will be able to survive with his life.
Yeah, and the pulls from Uncle Sam have been very good, right? I like the way that he's been using it to CC and chain targets up. I believe first turret is going to go over to Winthrop here, and a big chunk of going over to Denethor, who's 3-0 on the Malphite. As we are going to get a replay of this dive. Mind you, Sword used his flash earlier on in the 4-man bot lane, so they make this play. And you see Mobility and Wakao and Chookies all here, but the nice pull from Uncle Sam into the Glacial Fissure stops any sort of play, any sort of counterplay from Winthrop, and the rest is history. Shogo's allowed to free hit. He gets the passive going, and he's just able to pick up kills here. Nice follow-up from Ole Miss to cover the dive, to cover the punchback or counterplay, from Winthrop.
Yeah, and the really big thing is that Uncle Sam wasn't on vision. Like, they had an idea because he dropped the mid-wave, right? But he was, you know, trailing behind them just out of vision until the very last moment, and Mobility really just didn't have the time to react. So, really nice play. Chucky's going to Hex Slash over the wall. Looking for a little something here, but you can see Denethor is walking down. It's going to be time for him to join these fights.
Yeah. The Rock in the top lane making an appearance finally. Should be able to just get this for free. There's no real setup. You can see the vision line for Winthrop, right? They've got a control ward down there. You've got to walk in, and at a moment's notice, Denethor can just ult your carries. And I don't think Shogo's too comfortable fighting, mainly because his flash isn't up. I'm sure he'd like both summoners to reposition, and he can kind of whittle away these fights, because once Denethor uses the ultimate, once you've used your big gun, if you miss the shot, if you're not able to get onto Ole Miss's backline, Shogo can reposition and he can just free fire away. Because you look at Winthrop's composition, it's Ryze, it's Malphite, it's Nautilus, it's Poppy, a lot of short range champions other than mobility, and that's just going to play in more to what Ole Miss want to do in these team fights.
Yeah, and I think if you're Shogo, you need to wait until you're at 2.5 items, right? You need to wait until you at least have the last whisper before you're like, okay, I'm comfortable fighting Denethor. I'm comfortable fighting, Sword is probably going to get some more armor later, but he's burly, so you want to be doing as much true damage, quote unquote, as possible. The same goes for Watao, so we'll see if they elect to pull the trigger earlier, if they see a good fight that they want, or if they just decide, hey, we'll coin flip a 5v5.
Unfortunately, Wakao is on Poppy, and he's going the vegan build, right? He's going...
Avant-Garde?
The Knights... Avant-Garde, right? No, it's not Avant-Garde anymore. Knight's Vow is pretty standard here.
Yeah.
His job is just to place it onto Sword, potentially onto Mobility, and soak up as much damage as possible for his carries here, right? He's not going to be the mega tank that is Denethor. His job is to play a more supportive tank role, off-tank, you could argue, and just give his team, give his carries the necessary effective HP to carry these fights. As we see, Wakao just charging in.
Yeah, you saw Denethor eat that Spiraling Despair. He is quite low. This could be an opportunity for Ole Miss. This dragon is up. Their mid lane turret still stands despite the charge. And remember, as a reminder, Denethor does not have teleport right now, so it's going to be his ultimate or bust. And if he backs here, Winthrop just needs to delay this dragon just a bit.
Yeah, but the thing is Ole Miss know that he's backing, right? They have to find out and they have to make the play. They're going to get mid lane control or mid wave control here. Not going to really push it in. Stray has already roamed from the top side into mid lane. So if a play happens, if they're able to pick up some kills, he can maybe use his port to port back in the mid or port back in the top side and put some more pressure. But Denethor has backed. He's already here. Scrying Orb has gone down. Rhino's trying to play defensive lineman.
Destiny is out. Rhino is going to meet Denethor here, but there's a blast plant for him to get over if he wants to. They're all grouped up. The Ryze all going to come through and put Denethor right there. Denethor still has his ultimate available. He's CC locked for right now. He's still CC locked. He's still looking for a good target here. He's going to be able to walk away. Shutdown goes over to the Ryze. Now Uncle Sam in trouble. Big play! Can you smell what Denethor's cooking? Shogo trying to get away. He gets a big shutdown. He's alive.
Shogo!
He manages to survive, but Sword versus 3 very low targets. Now Chunky's just trying to get back, but Sword goes down. Shogo manages to survive and finds a triple kill for himself.
Yanni, I can smell what Denethor's cooking, but it's burnt. He left it in the oven too long, brother. And Shogo, with full thumbs up, is able to turn the play around. Wakao is hunting. He's looking. Maybe he'll catch them on the dragon as we get a replay here. Look how long Denethor is CC'd in here. They throw the Realm Warp as a bait, right? Denethor gets in. The man is in Chompers. He's in Gold Card. He's stunned for eternity. The ultimate finally comes out from Chookies. And yes, the first kill goes on to Icelandic. But look at Shogo. Free hitting, free hitting, free hitting. Denethor finally is able to go in, but the man's at 25% HP. You asked what he was cooking. The man wasn't even having any ingredients, right? He had some flour, some eggs. He forgot the sugar, the spice, everything nice. And Shogo's able to pick up every single kill on the back end and stop the dragon. Big, big pockets for Shogo right now, i.e. Kraken in his pockets.
Yeah, with that extra gold, we'll see if he's weighed down a little bit. Ole Miss decided that giving up this dragon is totally worth it, especially after a fight like that, because Shogo summoners are down, right? So if you are Winthrop, there is some victory there, right? There is a little bit of a silver lining. Shogo is in a pretty rough position here. Denethor does have his ultimate available, but it looks like Winthrop won't push the issue.
Yeah, it looks like Dragon, the first mountain going over to Winthrop here, but Uncle Sam in this side lane does have to be wary. Denethor has picked up a null magic mantle. That's definitely not enough. Is Wakao just trying to be annoying right now? He's getting there. Yeah, he's got a little bit. The Spiraling Despair comes out kind of early. Woo!
I mean, he took him down to like almost half HP. Like that's okay. You're probably not going to need the Spiraling Despair for a little bit longer, so why not, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they can really look for team fights, right? Marty should be, or Uncle Sam should be calming as we get a flash over to the gold. Once again, Sword well above his counterpart here. Same with the solo laners, Denethor and Sword, doing better than Stray and Uncle Sam, but you just take a glance at that bottom lane. Shogo When you're down and out, when you've got to rely on one man, it's him. He's 9,900 gold. He's 2,000 up on mobility right now, and eventually the Zeri will scale, but he's nowhere close to Shogo's power level at the moment. He's sitting on a static Shiv and a couple components. He's going to tickle Icelandic Hero. He's going to tickle Rhino at best.
Yeah, he's got his P shooter, but he's not strong enough yet, but we all know the scaling of Zeri as Rhino is going to get caught out here. Teleport's coming in. Sword lagging from behind. Knockup goes down onto Chookies. Shogo has to play a little bit away from this fight here. Denethor going to be targeted. Down to about half HP. Zap goes over the wall, slows Chookies, but doesn't take him out yet.
And it sucks because Denethor TP's in, and he just eats like 5 CC abilities, right? He eats the graps, he's the roots, the displacement, the Braum stun. He's eating a fear. Like, he's not actually allowed to move for the first couple seconds.
They're trying to make a play on the Sword. Sword's been stunned. Sword's caught into the turret. He's feared. He's dead. It's going to be Shogo picking up that kill. Meanwhile, Icelandic Hero unabated against Watao. Mobility going to try to roam up, but here's the rest of Ole Miss. Destiny coming out. Mobility isn't a bad spot. He's stunned and he's dead. It's another kill to Shogo, and it's going to be another kill to Shogo. A double kill that's really a triple, and now Ole Miss starting to pick up the tempo.
Ooh, 4,000 gold at the 21-minute mark against a Jinx, a Twisted Fate. Yeah, that's just going to get that Baron right rolling for them. Wakao goes down, Sword goes down, TP's not available for any of these solo laners. Realm Warp is a mile away still at this moment, and so that's going to be a nice Baron picked up in Ole Miss. Flipping the script from game one, yeah, they've got the pick potential, they've got the ability to catch out these solo laners, but man, have they been playing a much cleaner game too, as we get a peek back at that mid lane play. Sword just gets gold carded over the wall, and once the CC chain comes in, you are shackled for eternity, and Mobility already uses the Jet Set radio over the wall, so Stray then ults gold cards, and that's another kill, and Wakao and Icelandic Hero were fighting on the back end, back and forth. And with Jinx already excited, she gets the kills. That's technically, like you said, a triple kill for Jinx. In a very smart play that leads into objectives, that leads into the Baron. Ole Miss are not allowing Winthrop time to set up these Realm Warps, time to set up these team fights that they want. They are just constantly applying pressure to Winthrop's throats.
And now Shogo has Lord Dominic's regards with his flash available. So if you cannot, knock him up, CC chain him before he can flash, his positioning has been as good as I've ever seen it. He's always been good at it, but there's something else this game. Shogo has a chip on his shoulder. The entirety of Ole Miss have a chip on their shoulder. They are playing really good League of Legends right now, Shibby.
Yeah, and the rapid fire cannon has been completed for Stray. All those plays prior, he wasn't sitting on that big item power spike, so now Mobility's got to be even more wary. Sword as well has got to be careful, because look at that. He could just stun you right over the wall here. Baron up. Chookies goes in.
Yeah, there's the knockups. Watch for Denethor, who's rooted up. Shogo trying to stay away, trying to stay okay for this fight. Denethor down to below half HP. That's all Ole Miss has to do. Whittle him down so he can't go in.
Look at Uncle Sam's itemization.
He waved goodbye.
He did wave goodbye to the turret at least, but he's got that mini Banshee shield going. What does Denethor do now? If he can see a pick, Uncle Sam can position so aggressively, and realistically, who's going to be able to knock that Banshees off from a distance? It's not going to be Sword. It's not going to be Chookies. It's not going to be Wakao, because if they go in, they're dead to rights. It has to be Mobility hitting him with like a W or some sort of auto attack spell, potentially. I like this itemization from Uncle Sam on the way to deny the combo, the pick potential from Denethor here.
He doesn't need to do a whole lot of damage. He's just got to be alive in the fight to be able to use his utility to his advantage. So we're seeing Rhinos getting hooked to Denethor in the area. Icelandic Hero as well. Shogo trying to keep everybody at arm's length here as Winthrop hitting the blast plant to group up a little bit more. They're going to be the ones to start up this dragon. Should be 24 and a half minutes. 3 dragons overall in the game. This will be dragon number 4. Icelandic Hero wants to try to find a way in. Dragging down to about 8,000 HP.
Just take mid control.
Yeah, it's not going down.
We could just take mid control.
Yeah, it's not going down very fast, and you see that mid lane is getting pushed in. Stray looking for a target. It's going to be Chookies. Chookies can't quite land the hook. Dragon getting low. Watao is going to be able to knock out Icelandic Hero. This could be the opportunity to fight. It's a 5v4. Rhino is a little low. Denethor gets stunned. Denethor CC has to ult away into the Realm Warp to try to survive. Here comes the Destiny. Super Mega Death Rocket blocked there by Chookies.
Gotta go for Sword.
Here comes Stray. Sword is going to be the target. He's a little low. And now here comes the rest of the squad. Chookies trying to hook away.
Oh,
I know flashing forward.
Despair.
Chookies goes down. There's a knock-up onto Shogo, but it's not going to matter. It's a double kill here for Stray. Flash forward, and they're going to be able to clean up Sword as well. There is nothing that Winthrop can do. The Throps are down, Shippy, as the Land Sharks are on top.
Yeah, they're hiding right now. The Throps are not out right now. It's feasting season. It's Shark Week. And Ole Miss, they're not done. They're taking a bite out of Denethor.
Denethor gonna fall as well. Icelandic Hero gets that kill. And now it's Mobility, the only one who can watch as the structures will fall. Doesn't look like this will be the end of the game, Shibby, but this should be at least one inhibitor. We'll see if Ole Miss wants to extend for 2.
Yeah, double inhib is a really tough position to come back from, but you've got the champions, you've got Rise, you've got Zeri here. If you can try to stall out for the 3-item power spike of Mobility here, whether he opts in for Navori or IE, as we get a replay, and this is on the tail end, right? They booted Stray out of the fight, but he just TPs back in, gets the gold, or the red card, sorry, but the Spiraling Despair puts so much pressure, because now you've got to get out of there, you've got to make sure you don't kill your whole team, and that allows the resets to come in. Very smart from Ole Miss. Realistically, Sword put the realm up for his team and didn't take it himself, so he was the last man alive, or last man straggling behind, sorry, and is able to just kind of allow Ole Miss to get things going and to get 2 inhibs off of that. Really well played from Ole Miss. I thought they were just going to wrestle mid-control because they had the Baron, it was already going into the tower, but they get the team fight, they get double inhib, they get so much more off of that. They were never actually playing for the dragon. They were playing for the team fight.
Yeah, and you know what? That's just the Ole Miss way, right? We know them as a team who plays for team fights predominantly, and their objective taking, going after turrets and their rotations has been a little secondary, but it's something that they have actively changed. They have added it to their repertoire. This is why this team is so scary. This is their magnum opus match to show everybody that they have changed, that they are serious CLOL contenders, and that Shogo can three-peat with Ole Miss and bring them a title.
Yeah, and now with the double inhibs down, all Stray has to do is just constantly apply pressure to the mid lane, to the bot lane here. He has the ability to maybe TP into your base, right? If Winthrop gets too overzealous, if they too much overcommit here, as a team fight, it's going to break out. Let's see if Stray can get in.
Knock up onto Denethor. He does get CC locked. Spiraling Despair going to go out onto Sword. It's not going to do a whole lot, but it's going to certainly force Winthrop off just a little bit. Looks like the Baron will be started up here by Ole Miss. They've got a wave pushing in to the Winthrop base, so it's going to have to be on Watau to try to do something here.
Look at Stray. He's pushing in mid lane. He's forcing Denethor back. And if Denethor TPs in for this fight, Stray TPs to your base. You are checkmated right now, Winthrop. You can't do anything. Double inhib is such a tough position to fight back from. And with this Baron, these tier 3, these tier 2 and tier 3 in the top side should be good as mincemeat.
Winthrop chooses to live to fight another day, but Shibby, I'm looking at my watch, and it looks like it's 11:58 p.m. here for the side of Winthrop, because there might not be another day to fight in this game. See if Ole Miss can continue the push here. Just one final turret to take down before the Nexus turrets.
Yeah, once again, Waves pushing. Mid lane, they've got to get that shove. But Stray, look, he's pushing mid lane. And they're just going to be able to free hit a last-ditch engage, potentially?
Trying to big body. Icelandic Hero down to about half HP. Super Mega Death Rock.
Oh!
Look at the Rise. Realm Warp from behind. It's going to put Shogo in a rough spot.
Stray!
But Sword is all alone. There's the ultimate. Knocks up 3. They've gotten on top of Shogo, and they managed to take him out. It's a 3v3. But look at that. Just like that, the bodies hit the floor for Winthrop. A triple kill for Stray, who comes up huge. A rough early game from the top laner that's been imported to Ole Miss. And guess what? Ole Miss shocking everybody. A 2-0 series lead against Winthrop. Shibby, they put themselves on match point.
Yanni, am I watching X-Men 97? Was that Gambit in the top lane? Just flinging, wheeling and dealing cards back and forth. When a 180 carry goes down, you put your backpack on another, and Stray coming in big here. Ole Miss, like you said, a 2-0 lead over Winthrop. What a massive Game 2 performance coming out. Ole Miss have been drafting expertly. They've been getting these double AD carry, I will air quote, compositions here, but it feels like Winthrop don't know what to do. The Hui gets busted out, the Twisted Fate, are they going to ban the Jinx? What do you leave open to ban those champions out? Are you going to triple ban Shogo? Are you going to give Stray his Rumble? Are you going to give Twisted Fate over? There's too much to deal with right now. Winthrop, without the advantages of Fearless, maybe Ole Miss might be able to take the CLOL series.
Yeah, and you called it in that last fight, man. Stray just whipping cards around everywhere, my friend, in that last fight. Everything and the kitchen sink on top of it. And Ole Miss find themselves on match point, my friend. I did not think that we were going to get here. I did not think we were going to stare a 3-0 sweep in the face. But here we are. We're going to take a very short break so I can clean up these cards that I just threw all around my room. And when we return, it could be the final game of the series between Ole Miss and Winthrop. And you're not going to want to miss it. The storylines write themselves. Welcome back, everybody, to the NECC CLOL Conference Finals between Ole Miss and Winthrop University. Winthrop, prior to this match, had been 6-1 in games against Ole Miss, with both of these teams having the rosters. Should be they're now 6-3 because Ole Miss holds all the keys. They've got a 2-0 series lead. I'm stunned by this, mostly because I'd expect this to be an even series. Like, we know that Ole Miss has certainly played Winthrop very tough. That those games prior could have went anyway, but right now, Ole Miss, especially in game 2, I was wowed with the way they played the map. They played New Miss, right? We were talking about it a lot. It became a little bit of a meme, but they played like New Miss.
Ole Miss is up 2-0. There's no way they throw this lead, right, guys? We're okay.
Get the tweets ready.
Get the tweets ready. 3-0 Hillary Clinton. Anyways, I think you're right. I think we definitely expected it. I mean, if you look at the series, right, specifically between them prior, these games were back and forth. It's just Winthrop were able to come out on top at the end. Now Ole Miss is finally able to swing it their favor, right? I mean, it's not like it was a bad game from Winthrop initially, right? They were able to get certain plays off. They pressured mid, right? I think Sword got a solo kill onto Uncle Sam, right? But just the proactiveness from Ole Miss, the ability to look for plays, and I think Twisted Fate specifically is the big mechanism, right? The driver, the catalyst for these plays to be made, because eventually they're just able to counter potential four-mans. They're able to look for things onto the map. They are more than willing to trade a dragon for like 2 towers, right? They're doing so much here, and Icelandic Hero specifically has been doing a solid job, at least in game 2, countering Wakao, and unfortunately Trickster has just been a little too over-aggressive. Even though he was playing the Poppy, he was aggressively Eing in, looking for plays, and was getting punished consistently. The big thing, though, for Winthrop is, are they going to leave Jinx open again? Are they going to ban that? Are they going to remove the Rumble? Like, they've been consistently banning Rumble, Callista, Kog'Maw. Do you take the Twisted Fate and Jinx away? What gets open now? Callista, Kog'Maw, Rumble? There's a lot for Winthrop to handle, and I don't think the first 3 bans are enough, especially because they've chosen to go back on red side for a 3rd time here. Blue side is Ole Miss's comfort. They can flex whatever they want.
Yeah, but Winthrop believes that the 2 power picks that they get are superior. You know what? It really comes up to how the coaches and the teams draft Shibby. You mentioned, could they leave Callista open and put Jinx on there? Listen, man, I would tread very lightly when it comes to leaving Callista open for Shogo and Rhino. They play that so well. But again, you're right. They've just had no answer for the Jinx. So far, it's been everything the same, but we've only gotten through 2 bans.
Yeah, right now, they still respect the Stray Rumble. I respect that. Hey, maybe Rhino. That's another pick that could get flexed, right? Can go into Rhino's pick if he wants to throw that. Hey, Rumble support's legit. Go look at life, man. He's
Rumble Callista. Listen, don't ban Rumble, don't ban Callista. Let Ole Miss play it. It's either going to go really, really well for them or really poorly for them.
And Winthrop have correctly identified that Twisted Fate is the catalyst for Ole Miss. So now they've got to give something different to either Stray or Uncle Sam here. Are they going to look for more plays across the map? Are they going to maybe lock in an early Talia for Uncle Sam or Icelandic Hero so that they can get these roams off? Not having that global is tough, but it's not the end of the world for Ole Miss here. But you now make the tough decision. Callista or Kog'Maw? What do I want to give, early game or late game power to Shogo?
Well, we'll see what Ole Miss elects to go to. I'm subscribing to, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Shogo just seems like he is in the zone, man. He has just played so well in these first 2 games. His movement, just everything has been fantastic. The other day, Colomer was saying on Twitter that this is a guy that needs to be on a tier 2 team, right? He needs to, regardless if the team makes it or not, he's got to move up a level. It's time. And you know what? Shogo is showing the people why. He is speaking to the people that he should be tier 2 and higher. We are going to see on the other side the Lucian Nami get put in here. So we are going to see one of Lucian's strongest combos. See if Ole Miss is going to be able to handle.
We went to the Lucian Braum. We have yet to see the Lucian Milio. Now we're going to go for the tried and true Lucian Nami. And you know what? Why not? Trade the Nautilus away. Rhino has been finding some killer hooks onto certain carries here. And the thing is, he's more than willing to give his life away for the rest of his team to clean up the fight. That's what you want to see in a support. That's what I want to see in Rhino. And there it is, the champion that we were expecting to see consistently for Ole Miss. Uncle Sam's Azir, over 200 games on it in solo queue and 20 competitive games, something crazy like that. Tried and true comfort, but that's just going to open up the Talia for Sword here, and they can still go potential Talia Vi combo to really hammer in Uncle Sam in this mid lane, who is on something that he is much more comfortable piloting.
Ole Miss, your Emperor has returned. But unfortunately, if your Emperor steps on a couple rocks, it's a bad time for him. You know, he's got the little chicken feet. But you know, the Unraveled Earth is going to be pretty important here, right? The hooks coming out from Rhino, if you get that Unraveled Earth down, you're going to stun him once he lands. You're going to get those micro stuns off. The same thing with the Azir. Break up that little combo by just a bit where he can slide in and use the Emperor's Divide. You delay that by a half second. I mean, that just completely changes the complexion of a fight. So I like what Winthrop has done here. Second round of bans. That Gragas has been seen as problematic. They want that one off the table, as well as that Kindred. Meanwhile, for the Land Sharks, they're going to get rid of that Camille. They're going to just put Denethor on anything else, right? And Denethor, he's been jamming a lot of Camille in solo queue lately. He's been jamming just a lot of solo queue as a whole. It's Camille's time to come back into the meta, but you're also going to see that Vi get taken away.
And this screams to me that they want to go for something more lane dominant. I was thinking Jax. Renekton is something Denethor has been able to pilot to a really good efficiency, right? The Eclipse build, he's able to get onto the AD carry. He's able to slice and dice his way through, get the stun in. I like this. And you remove one of the biggest lane neutralizers, as we are going to see Stray on the Ornn here. I was maybe expecting the Cassante. I've had my criticisms of Stray's champion pool in the past and the kind of player that I think he can be. And we're also going to see Icelandic Hero on the Lee Sin. All right, okay, we've got a lot of peel. We've got Snap Engage. We've got the ability to jump on. Like, this is a team composition.
Excuse me, Shibby. Didn't we have an argument recently about how, Icelandic Hero doesn't play Lee Sin? And I was like, he's played Lee Sin before. He's absolutely played Lee Sin. We are seeing the lock-in of Gwen come in here, and it looks like we're going to get a Renekton mid here for Sword. That's very atypical. Typically, you'll see this into a melee mid laner, but instead, Shurima on Shurima violence. But going into the Azir, I must say, Shibby, this is a bit of a surprise.
It can't be fun for Renekton. It cannot be fun for Sword, right? Maybe taking a page out of the Ole Miss book, and Gwenethor is coming back in, and we saw how much damage this guy can do, right, on the Gwen. Denethor is a monster carry. They're putting him on something that he has an advantageous matchup into Stray, and the Ornn, I haven't really seen it too much coming out of him, but Uncle Sam should have a jolly time in the mid lane, right? Obviously, there's good CC setup. Flash, slice and dice, or slice and dice, flash stun into the Talia jungle, right? The Legos, the knockback. There is kill threat on Uncle Sam. You have to pay attention to that. He's not just going to be able to free hit all the time. He's got to be wary of the potential double flash or stun setup and CC setup from this mid jungle duo. It's very good, right? You want to look for plays on the bot side. You want to dive. You want to do things across the map. Talia Renekton is very, very strong here. I'll see if Uncle Sam ends up going for the tank Azir build, because right now it's Gwen and Mobility that have a big chunk of that damage load on their shoulders.
Yeah, and with this bot lane, there should be a way for Winthrop to be able to convert that damage into kills, convert those kills into a lead elsewhere. But on the other side, Nami getting hooked by anything, it usually means it's sushi time, right? This is going to be a bad time. You're going to get blown up. Nami takes a whole lot of damage. A couple of differences have been made to Nami in recent patches, so her healing has been increased, but they pulled back on her damage a little bit, specifically on her E. So this Lucian Nami combo that was once a super strong combo, the second best combo, and is pretty close, there might be a larger gap, right? We're not quite sure what the move is going to be.
Yeah, and I think the big thing was that electrocute change as well, right? It happened a while ago. You cannot get the Nami E plus electrocute, but Winthrop have a dominant bot lane. They have the Lucian Nami to kind of stuff out Shogo Rhino on this Jinx, who has gotten it 3 games now in a row, and realistically, he's been that big late game carry for them. You stack that on top with an Uncle Sam Azir, and you've got yourself an Ole Miss sandwich that can just go into 30 minutes, 35 minutes, 28 minutes even into these late game scenarios, and they're just going to outvalue you. Yeah, there's Gwen on the other side, but you've got to go against Ornaments, you've got to go against Uncle Sam Azir, Jinx Shogo, right? There's so much in the pocket, and unfortunately, this Lee Sin will eventually just become a kick bot, either kicking the Gwen away or the Lee Sin away, or sorry, the Renekton away, and that's how you kind of create distance and space for your carries here. We'll see if Icelandic can get some of those early game plays, maybe this kick into scoop combo, onto sword, onto mobility, but once it goes later into the game, Icelandic's job is one thing and one thing only, keeping his carries safe.
One update that we have from Pilscar in Twitch chat, aka Denethor's dad, aka Datathor, that Denethor is pretty darn sick today, and he is not doing so well. You know what? This has all the makings of the flu game, right? You get him into a favorable matchup on a carry champion that he's shown that he's pretty proficient at. Denethor carries the game. Michael Jordan's his way to Winthrop getting a victory. All of a sudden, the series could turn on its head. If you're Ole Miss, you do not want to give away any momentum to the side of
Sword?
Winthrop here. The sword was A-okay. He knew. He knew the entire time.
He does have to start slice and dice into the lane, and that's going to give full bottom lane bot quadrant control over to Rhino and the rest of Ole Miss here. Let's see if they can get some wards down. They're not going to actually ward the actual camp. They're instead going to just look for that opening initial ward here. But slice and dice start for sword. It's going to be a little interesting. Maybe they're going to go for a delayed invade. Why not? Try to push out Trickster here. Stray has to back off top quadrant over to Winthrop. But I like this from Ole Miss, getting a cheeky little invade going and potential late invade and splitting the bottom lane and the top lane respectively. Stray's fine if you split top. He's on Ornn. But if you're splitting Mobility and Chuki's lane, the lane that they're supposed to be able to shove in, push in, get really aggressive, they can't do that because Icelandic Hero owns this quadrant of the map.
Yeah, we'll see what the answer is here from Watao. They did spot out the bot lane plus Icelandic Hero on the side of Winthrop with a well-placed ward into Tribrush. So, Shibby, how does that alter your route, especially as a Talia?
I mean, you unfortunately just have to split the jungle, right? And you maybe look for something opportunistic onto Stray if Stray mismanages the lane or gets a big wave stacked against him. But realistically, this split is so Ole Miss favored into the Lucian Nami specifically, right? They cannot play aggressive. They cannot play pushed up. And if they take too much damage, if Rhino and Shogo decide to all in them and get mobility and Chuki's very low, well, there comes Icelandic Hero ready for a gank, ready to just kind of get this bot lane going. So as long as Stray does fine in this top side, doesn't take too much damage here, has cookies and an HP pot available, there's not much you can do other than just full clear as Wakao.
Yeah, we'll see what the move is. He's cleared out his top side. His bottom side has gotten cleared out. Looks like he's going to make his first stop into the mid lane here. Sword flashing forward, getting the sun down. You called it, Shibby. You got to watch out for that combo, and Uncle Sam was not prepared. First blood to Watao.
Flash, slice and dice, stun, and Trickster taking advantage of Uncle Sam's perceived safety, right? He just did not respect the slice and dice stun and just died instantly. Uncle Sam's going to TP right back in the lane. Should be okay. The kill ends up going over to Wakao. Let's see if Icelandic Hero can look for a play. He's instead going to full reset, get back onto the map with the longsword just so he can have a little bit extra dueling power in case a 2v2 or a 3v3 happens in the mid and top or bot side.
Yeah, and as you called out earlier, it was really good ward coverage from Mobility and Chuki's. So they knew that Icelandic Hero was still in the area. Local Icelandic man in your area. And this does mean that Watao has had free reign onto the opposing topside jungle. Watao, Icelandic Hero will be able to get his. As you said, they were just going to split the map. Nothing too crazy coming in. But, as we said, Watao was able to get his Uncle Sam camp on the way through.
Yeah, he's able to pick it up and gonna look to fancy a dive. Stray is a little low here. And unfortunately, Icelandic Hero's not here. Uncle Sam doesn't have TP. This is a good dive.
Yeah, Stray is on an island right now, but he lands the double knock up here. Watao has to flash away. Denethor tanking it up, and he goes down as well. Stray holding down the fort, going 1-for-1.
That's a good play, especially on the dive. That stops the momentum from Wakao. Denethor as well is going to have to potentially TP back here. The wave's not in the best spot. It should push back into him. Well played from Stray, right? I mean, that's the best you could hope for in a 2v1 dive. A 1-for-1 is, you'll take that, especially because it's double AP. He's going to hyper index into that magic resist.
Yeah, he's got that Negatron cloak, which is going to present some big problems. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, Hook goes out. Mobility with a nice cleanse there. Icelandic Hero in the area. Can he get the Q off? Couldn't quite land the smite Q. Mobility will live to fight another day.
I respect it. That was good. I thought he was going to maybe ward hop into E to get the slowdown. He's back around, but they know he's here. Icelandic, brother, you're on the wrong side of town.
Yeah, he will be able to dodge out on the bubble, so they're not trying to lay a trap here or anything like that, but you can see Mobility already back up to around half HP from that healing. Again, the increase in the healing, it's not to be understated.
Uh-oh.
Rhino CC'd. Rhino's in trouble. Rhino is dead. It's going to be Mobility picking up a kill. Chuki's in Mobility with a little bit of help from Watao, getting the job done.
And where's Icelandic Hero? He's on the Gromp right now. He's taking another jungle camp away. I don't know if they're going to be able to roam to him. Sword is looking down. Doesn't have flash. Has one slice available.
Ward hops away. Doesn't quite have the dice. The bubble coming out forces the flash. Well played by Chookies.
Yeah, to get that bubble over the wall. They make a play out of nothing, essentially, right? They kill Rhino, and then they burn Icelandic Hero flash. That'll be pretty crucial later on as Icelandic Hero says, you know what? Chookies, I'm going to punish now. You guys are too pushed far.
Hook goes down. Icelandic Hero's here. There's the root. No cleanse available, and they are going to give this one over to Shogo. He gets the first kill. Chookies has no mana. Chookies is slowed. Chookies is almost assuredly going to go down here. It's going to be a double kill for Shogo. Your nightmares come to life if you're Winthrop.
And they thought Icelandic might take a back after the flash. Instead, he goes for the wraparound. Says, you know what? I'm not done here. I'm not done cooking in the bottom lane. And gets a nice double kill for Shogo here. Once again, Jinx getting some kills into their pocket. Shogo getting some much-needed gold, putting them ahead of Mobility after this back.
Yeah, and you're going to get an Infernal Drake on top of it, get that nice little extra infusion of damage. It's exactly what you want if you're Shogo. You are living large and loving life right now.
Yeah, I love this. Nice play. Turning that into a dragon here, and Denethor and Stray this matchup going as expected, right? Gwen into Ornn. As long as Ornn can make it to that late game, make it to the ornament stage, we should be fine here. And although that early mishap from Uncle Sam, that kill that was rolled into Trickster's favor, other than that, has been doing well into this lane. Sword actually matching in CS, so that's really impressive from the Renekton. I think because Uncle Sam opted in for the more tankier Azir build, he's not actually able to put as much damage as you would think onto a melee solo laner.
Yeah, that just means that Sword has enough HP to spend, can decide to trade HP for minions. One interesting note is that something we didn't cover is that the grubs were taken by Winthrop, and their team comp can really utilize them well. Watao and Sword in the area. Watao does have Weaver's Wall available. They want to try to make a play here. This will be another time that they're able to try and dive.
Icelandic's here. I like this. He's here to cover. Azir doesn't have TP, but a 3v4 might be enough. Kick is not available, though.
He has to ward hop away. There's a fight on two fronts. Mobility forced to cleanse. Good dodge out from Shogo. But on the backside, Icelandic Hero just goes down. Uncle Sam, no teleport available. Calling down onto Rhino. Going to do a lot of damage. We'll see if there's a second opportunity to dive. Because Watao does have his ultimate available.
Uncle Sam looking to roam. He's looking to move here. Sword. Flash is available. I don't think he's going to go in. But hey, you pick up a kill. You didn't kill Shogo, you didn't kill Rhino, but Icelandic Hero, like you said, under-leveled, not able to kick anybody away, not able to do anything as he's level 5, gives another kill, and that's Sword picking up one for himself. Astray and Denethor duking it out right now on the top side, just trading blows back and forth.
Yeah, everything's all right up there. Astray is like, this is Ornn Gaming, baby. We are Ornn Gaming, my friend. There's just all that magic resistance in the world. He's going to need to get a little bit of armor because Sword's going to do a lot of damage to him. Mobility will do a lot of damage to him. He is one of the two frontliners.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, he's index for Denethor and Wakao here, a Trickster. But overall, Winthrop trying the same old strategy. Dive bot, 4-man, get mid push, and look to roam here. And Ole Miss have been doing a good job mitigating the loss, right? Or at least have been trying to. Game 1, it was a little rough. A lot of 3-for-0s, 3-for-1s here, but Game 2 and Game 3, they've been fine. Icelandic is here, though, in Wakao's mind, but there's a lot of damage coming back.
Yeah, that's all right. He's just trying to cover his buddy to make sure he can get out of there. One thing to note, Shibby, is that just over 9 minutes into the game, Winthrop holds a very healthy gold lead, 1,600. The largest we've seen in a while. Double knockups coming out. There's the root as well. No cleanse available for Mobility as he falls. It's a huge 2v2 coming out. Better bot lane wins 4-0 for Shogo.
And I've seen Mobility caught with those stray hooks. His sword. Better mid wins as he gets the solo bolo. But I want to go back to that point. I feel like Mobility and Chookies have been randomly caught out by Rhino. In Game 1, it was the same kind of really crazy hooks. I don't know if they're just playing disrespectfully. They're not dropping ego. But Mobility has just been getting caught with these strays. And the follow-up from Shogo, the traps, the damage, it's too much for them to handle. That's a 2v2 kill again. 4-0 for Shogo. Cracking at 10 minutes.
Yeah, and these Lucian X lanes have been really some of their best lanes that they've had in recent memory. Yeah. And it has not worked today. And we did talk about how, yes, we believe the better bot lane to be Shogo and Rhino, but the gap is not that large. But in this game, Shogo, and this series, realistically, Shogo and Rhino, they have, while they've given up a kill or two, have almost consistently gotten the better of Mobility and Chookies, which hats off to them. They are showing that they are definitively the better bot lane, and perhaps there's a larger gap than we thought.
I mean, they've been doing it without any help, right? Mobility and Chookies have had 3-man, 4-man dives onto Rhino, onto Shogo. Rhino and Shogo are like, yeah, we don't need the help. We'll just 2v2 kill them. And they've done it consistently this series. Yeah, there was a kill onto Rhino in Game 1 where Mobility and Chookies got one. But other than that, I think we've seen them 2v2 kill them almost every single time here. Oh, yeah. And so, yeah, the gap is a lot bigger than some people suspected. Shogo, Rhino heard you talking that shit, Yanni.
I wasn't talking it. Hold on. I certainly wasn't. I was just saying what the people have said. And you know what? I did think that, hey, this is a little bit closer, and it's not due to Shogo and Rhino not being as good as advertised. They're even better than advertised. But it's due to Mobility and Chookies being better than I think a lot of people are giving them credit for. But Ole Miss, again, just showing up a statement from their bot lane, a statement series for the team so far. They've evened up this gold lead just a little bit here. Mobility could find himself in a little bit of trouble. He's the one to get hooked. He's going to get knocked up as well. Cleanse is going to come out, but it's not going to matter. He's going to be able to slide away, force the flash out. It will be a 1-for-1. Jungler down, though, which means the Dragon could go over to Winthrop if they want it.
It's about sending a message. Doesn't matter. Right? I said, I'm going to kill you regardless. TP comes in for Denethor, so I don't think Winthrop believes that Ole Miss are going to try to contest this. But it is just a Cloud Dragon. Sean, I know you're somewhere in chat. It is just a Cloud Dragon. It's not that big of a deal. But
reset.
Maybe want to play for this fight. Bubble lands.
Uncle Sam's kind of waffling around in the mid lane. I don't know if you see him there. Shogo burns the ghost, but he is slowed, so he's going to have to try to get away. Good chompers coming out here. Flashes the bubble. Sword with that Dominus. Rhino was forced away. Here comes Uncle Sam. It's a 4v3, but Shogo doing a good job of forcing Winthrop away.
Yeah, they muscled them out of the Dragon 2v3, right? Rhino and Shogo playing the Dragon bouncers here. That's going to opt for a reset, at least for this bottom lane of Ole Miss. So maybe they're going to try to releash the Dragon here, but Mobility and Chookies opting in for plates, maybe CS here. And you said Uncle Sam was waffling about in the mid lane. The man picked up 2 plates for himself. That's gold in the pocket. The Dragon doesn't go down. That's a net benefit for Ole Miss. I talked about how they've been smarter about trading objectives and understanding that, hey, we can give this Dragon if we can get some gold somewhere else on the map. Obviously, it's not a full turret, but plates in the pocket of your mid laner who's on his best champion, who has now hit his Leandri's power spike, and you can recontest this Dragon with a better item advantage. I will take that any day of the week. Good job from Ole Miss identifying what they can do and pushing it to their limits.
Winthrop was able to pick up 5 grubs, so not the full boat of 6, but Again, as I mentioned earlier, it's a very scary team to give that many grubs over to.
Uh-oh.
Speaking of being scared, Rhino is going to get knocked up into the Legos here. Sword going to slice. He's still got the dice available, but he gets knocked up. Super Mega Death takes him down. It's a shutdown for Shogo. Icelandic Hero is low, but the shield is out. He's alive. Uncle Sam comes up huge. Scoop him up, and Shogo knocks him down. It's another quadra kill for the best AD carry in the game.
Oh my God, Shogo went to the ice cream shop, said, Uncle Sam, can you give me a triple scoop of mobility sword? And Wakao here, he eats them all up, gets the turret, they're gonna get the dragon. Massive gold swing for Ole Miss here. Denethor will pick up a turret for himself, but the dragon, the kills, that's an 8-0 Shogo with Jinx at 14.5 minutes. Woo! The double chocolate chip with the mint chocolate chip on top, Yanni. That was beautiful.
He can't keep getting away with it. He can't keep getting away with it, Shibby. They just let him have it. It's like that episode of SpongeBob. He said, hey, that's my Jinx. Great, now let him have it. You can have it. They let him have it.
They just let him have it. It's not even worth it anymore. I mean, Shogo 8-0 hits the Kraken IE power spike 15 minutes into the game. We saw what he was doing 24 minutes into the game when he was hitting this. Now you've got to deal with a super fed Shogo, and you don't really have a super reliable way from Winthrop's side to get onto him. It's maybe a flash, slice, and dice stun. Maybe it's Wakao or Trickster getting onto the backline, cutting him off with one of these walls. But other than that, Shogo's been really good on his positioning.
Let's see what Denethor brings to the fight. Uncle Sam getting forced away. They're not able to help him out, but he's able to slide away. Here's Stray and Rhino, but Watau is on the way down, and they've divvied up the Ole Miss team here. Chookies is in the area, but can they actually do anything with it? Shogo on the top side means he should get this turret for free. Here it comes. Rhino in trouble. Down goes Stray. Rhino will fall as well. Well played there for Winthrop. It's a double kill for Denethor. He's going to get a turret as well.
Yeah, but there's 4-man bot lane right now. They might try to push for the 700 gold on that top side. Why not? You've got a Rift Herald. You're charging it in. More gold into the bank of Shogo's pocket. Why not? You get something, but Ole Miss, once again, trading objectives, going for the net benefit play.
Oh, what a play here from Watau. He's tanking turret too. Uncle Sam, just so good, man. What a play.
Dude, I hear the ice cream man down my street. Oh, wait, psych, that's Uncle Sam scooping up another, man. Like, he's just doing work on this Azir. This is why you don't give him his champion. We flash over the gold. Yeah, look, Denethor super far ahead, but the single strongest member in the game is none other than Shogo at 9,400 gold here. He is just a menace, and he's going to get into these team fights. He's going to free hit away as long as Ole Miss's front line is doing their job. As long as Icelandic is holding this kick for the peel, no one should touch Shogo.
Yeah, they've done a great job playing around Shogo this entire series. In some spots where it was hard to defend him and pick him up, he's been good. He's forced to burn the Ghost here from the Culling Sword on the side. What a play to shut down Sword. Teleport coming in. Shogo's in a bad spot. He needs to try to find a way out. Denethor is going to slide over to the wall. Shogo trying to dodge, but he goes down. It's going to be a shutdown for Denethor. That is big money in his pockets. Michael Jordan versus LeBron James right now in League of Legends Game 3.
I would say Shogo's like a Kobe Bryant. If you're more older, I think he's putting on a big carry performance right now. But yeah, we'll go with LeBron James for the youngins. I think so.
LeBron James can carry. Hold on.
No, okay. I'm not going to get into this to you on broadcast. We're not doing this. Denethor doing God's work on the Gwen right now, on Winthrop. It's a big chunk of change going into his pockets, and we've seen what this Gwen can do. We've seen what the Denethor can do here. But it's top versus AD carry right now, right? It's carry versus carry. And if he can get into the backline reliably, sure, fine, you can rip through Ole Miss. But I don't think a positioning error like that is going to happen consistently from Shogo, who's shown that he's just so well controlled on his summoner spell usage, on range leashing with lethal tempo. The guy has won 2 games on Jinx already, and Winthrop has decided to leave it open once again, and he's making them pay the biggest price.
Really the first mistake that we have seen out of Shogo in this game. Almost going to try to force down this mid turret and go where Denethor isn't. We know that Gwen can truly 1v9 games, and Denethor has the tools at his disposal to get the job done here. You can see they're trying to spot him out, trying to get to him before he can try to find a way out. Weaver's Wall is going to come through, try to split the gang up, but Denethor doesn't have a lot of places to go. Nice job to cancel the blast plan, and they're all on top of Denethor like a pack of wild wolves. Denethor's going to fall. It's a shutdown going over to Uncle Sam.
Wild wolves, more like a pack of wild sharks. They smell blood in the water, and it's Denethor being chewed to pieces. An arm here, a leg there. Ole Miss find where he is. They mark him on the map, and they say, oh, know what? We'll take the fight to you. Winthrop can't even get near their carry, and unfortunately, with their strongest member being down, another dragon going over into the favor of Ole Miss. That's going to put them on Soul Point here, specifically Hextech Soul Point.
Yeah, that is massive. Ole Miss doing a great job of playing around Denethor in a lot of spots, right? That bottom lane play was really nice from Winthrop. Again, they got the kill on Shogo that went over to Denethor. But other than that, they have just been staying away, keeping him at arm's length. That's resulted in them just having better map movements here. They may have lost 3 turrets, but they've taken 4 themselves. They put themselves on Soul Point. You can't ask for much more than that if you're Coach Gallagher.
Yeah, just really doing a good job forcing some draft adaptations from Winthrop, right? Banning out the Twisted Fate and say, you know what? You want a team fight? You want a brawl? We'll give it to you. They lock in the Azir. They lock in the Jinx once again. Crazy that Winthrop gave it over 3 games in a row. I don't think they do that again if they meet anywhere near the CLOL Nationals, which is probably the next time these guys will meet here. Ole Miss doing a good job putting that feather in their cap, like you said. It's not over yet. Still only a 1,000 gold lead separates Winthrop and Ole Miss. But if Ole Miss keep playing the way they do with the champions they have, the scaling over in their favor, ornaments are going to start coming in. Uncle Sam's going to start hitting 3 items, 4 items. Shogo's going to be on his 4th item. It's going to be rough.
Well, the Forge God could come out, but the turret is going to fall. Denethor looking for a little bit more, forcing the flash out of Stray. Stray is taking a whole lot of damage. They may have thought he was a rock, but he's actually paper because Denethor chops him down, but now Denethor's in a little bit of trouble against 2 very strong members, and Uncle Sam picks up the kill, but Uncle Sam burnt his teleport, and the Baron has been started up by Winthrop. This could be the breaker in this game, Shibby. Rhino in the area. Icelandic hero is close by. Nami wave is dodged out. Sword popping to Dominus. Baron is low. Can he get in there? Icelandic hero can't secure it. But here is Shogo. He's fairly well protected. Sword is going to be the first target, and Sword can't get over the wall. Next target is going to be this Nami, but a huge bubble coming out from Chookies. Now Uncle Sam, can he catch up? Not quite. So Winthrop dropped 2 members, but secured the ever-important Baron Nashor.
Yeah, they use the pressure, the black hole that Denethor has created in that bottom side to then take the Baron. They lose Sword, but at least 3 members on the side of Winthrop remove the game-ending option from Ole Miss's hands here. So this game's going to go at minimum another 5 minutes before anything happens, before the base begins to be cracked open here. Well played from Winthrop using their advantage. Trickster is looking for a play on Uncle Sam.
Smart flash there out of Uncle Sam. Not going to have that for his next fight. He's only going to have 1 scooper this time, will the Ice Cream Man, Uncle Sam. And that could be critical because there is a dragon coming up in about 2 minutes, and I've got a feeling that Ole Miss would love to have it in their back pocket.
Yeah, that flash will need to be tracked by Winthrop, but that's a ton of damage going on to mobility. That was, I think, a zap and a rocket, and the man's already at half health. We're seeing Ole Miss wrestle control of this river. Not really needed, right? There's not an objective or anything going down. I'd like to see them start transitioning some of their wards, some of their vision line onto this dragon. I know it's Cloud Soul, or sorry, not Cloud Soul, it's Hextech Soul here. They have to contest it if they're Winthrop. They've got to get down onto this map early and set up a trap, set up a flank for Denethor, corral them into a corner potentially so he can rip through them with the needlework. That's your best bet if you're Winthrop here. You've got to get some pincer maneuver going, but as long as they're marking Gwen here, as long as Ole Miss is doing their due diligence, they shouldn't fall for it, right? It's who can bait who into a trap play. Yeah,
I mean, you have to fight for it because you cannot get hit from so far away with these auto attacks and take that slow. That's just how these fights are going to be able to start so much easier for Ole Miss, right? You need to find a way if you are Winthrop They're on 3 items here for mobility. They're not the strongest items for Lucian, but they're good enough to get the job done. See if they're able to do much. Calling to come out. Mobility with a nice dash, but he takes quite a bit of damage. Call the Forge God coming out. They're going to be able to knock up on the Sword. Mobility has to flash the wall. Sword gets double knocked up, and Sword got chunked out, but a potential turn here. Stray is getting very low, and they're bearing down on him, rifling away, trying to take him down, and it will be a trade. Mobility able to get that kill. Now Uncle Sam looking for more. Is going to swipe up the Talia and take him out, but it's Denethor. Can Denethor cook? Rhino forced to flash over the wall. Denethor looking for more. Isolated Hero going to be the next target. Keeps him short. Uncle Sam lands the Q. Denethor getting bursted. Denethor goes down. Shogo looking to lead the way, but a nice bubble from Chookies. However, he's forced to flash away as Uncle Sam creating more and more pressure in this game.
Icelandic hitting Denethor with the stankiest of legs. Says, you know what? He's your problem, guys. Uncle Sam and Shogo take care of business. I don't think that's going to net them the dragon just yet. We're probably going to see another scrap around the Hextech Soul. Because if Ole Miss get this, it's surely game over for Winthrop.
Stray is going to match the teleport here. He's going to take some damage, but he'll be okay for now. Hex gates are going to come through. That means it's Rhino from behind. Watau is a little late to the party, but he's getting here. It's a 5v3 for right now. Winthrop's going to try to buy time. But it's going to be Sword who's going to get caught out first. And Wakao cannot get closer. And now he's trapped himself. He's forced to flash over the wall. Denethor teleporting in, but Watau will fall. Icelandic Hero gets the kill. And just like that, it's a 5v3 once again, Shibby. Denethor, full HP, but it's going to be so hard for him to try to get into this fight. Chookies has the ultimate ready if he wants to look for something. Stray going to take him very low, but the soul has been secured. Rhino's going to be the target. Scissors trying to do what they can, but Uncle Sam takes him down. Chookies is going to fall. Mobility ain't mobile enough. It's going to be an ace for Ole Miss.
And that could just be the game, and potentially Wakao and Trickster and Sword are up in a couple seconds. It should mean maybe mid lane inhibitor turret for them. Baron is coming up in about a minute and a half. Let's see if they push for at least singular inhib so it can make this Baron take that much easier. Very well played from Ole Miss, re-aggressing back onto the Dragon, using the numbers advantage, and a nice hook from Rhino onto Sword early on. It was a predict. Sword sliced into the Nautilus hook, which sealed his fate, and that gave the numbers advantage. That gave the get excited passive going for Shogo here, and now Ole Miss are going to back off. They're going to reset with the change in their pockets and turn their tails towards the Baron here and start setting up that vision line. This is a rough game for Winthrop. I know it's only a couple thousand that's separated, but Yanni, we're 27 minutes in. Stray has been upgrading people's items. Shogo's on 4.5 right now. Uncle Sam has hit his Zanya's. There is a lot more gold than that's displayed on the map for Ole Miss.
What a fantastic series so far from Ole Miss, and all they got to do is put the cherry on top of the sundae. Denethor is well caught out here. They mob him once again. They smell blood in the water, as you said earlier. It took every single member, but Denethor finally falls, and Ole Miss have taken out the huge target. No teleport available for him either, with Baron in 15 seconds.
You've lost your strongest member for Winthrop, and the Hex Gates are going to get them to Baron in a nick of time here. Trickster, maybe he can go for a steal. Maybe he can ride, surf his way onto Baron. Maybe he can channel the rocket power within him to maybe steal this Baron here.
Rhino?
But realistically, Rhino, maybe a pick.
They target him first. Double knockups come out here, but he doesn't go down. The Nami tidal wave will force away most members, but mobility is so damn low. Icelandic Hero and Rhino are as well, but Uncle Sam, Stray, and Shogo trying to do what they can. Sword with the Dominus going to try to go over the wall, trying to buy some more time for Denethor to possibly get there. Uncle Sam sliding through. They're going to target Sword. Sword forced to slice, but he can't. Dice. He's got nowhere to go. He's run out of time. He forces the flash. This is a really nice move from Sword as they brought everybody over. Woo! He can't sidestep the Super Mega Death Rocket, but it allows Denethor to come up.
Winthrop saved the Baron, and maybe they're hoping for Ole Miss to over-aggress. Guys, we killed Sword. They should really be paying attention to Denethor. The magic and armor resist shred, plus needlework. You saw what he did when you sent 5 at him. He might just quadra and pentakill. He's TP'd over to the backside.
Yeah, Denethor from behind, but looking up front. Watau trying to get in there, but he can't. Baron secured for Ole Miss. Stray is very low, but he's still alive. Hook goes down onto Watau. Isolating Hero, finds mobility, flashes away. Denethor can't find a way in. Lots of low health bars. Super Mega Death Rocket not quite up yet, but Denethor is getting targeted up front. Denethor gets slid into the rest of the team, but look at the backside. Isolating Hero takes out mobility, and now Watau going to be the next target. It's a double kill for Shogo, and Chucky's the last one standing. Teleports going into the base here. Who cares about Chookies? Because look what's happening in the mid lane. Uncle Sam is low. You can see it on the side of your screen. Sword trying to link up with Chookies, but Chookies goes down. It's 5 members of Ole Miss versus only 1 sword. The sword's been battered and bruised and through a lot of fights, but it's chipped, it's rusted, and it's gone down. Ole Miss, they flipped the script. They changed their fate. They have defeated Winthrop in a best of 5 for the first time in 2024.
Your NECC CLOL champions have been crowned, and when you go for the head, you best come correct. Winthrop fall 3-0. Ole Miss, they rip, they tear, and they shred Winthrop to pieces. Well played to them, a 3-0 victory. Yanni, no fearless, no problem, baby.
A man much better than myself said it a long time ago. Down goes Frazier! Down goes Frazier! Because this is exactly what happened. Ole Miss got the job done. They did it. They have taken a victory. They are riding the highest of highs into the CLOL championship. This is exactly what the team needed to do. They needed to come up huge. They looked fantastic, Shibby. They looked better than we could have ever imagined.
Yeah, and I mean, realistically, it felt like Winthrop were kind of drafted into a corner. Maybe, hey, I'm not gonna huff the copium, and you know, I mean, maybe they're saving strats for CLOL, but realistically, guys, you were supposed to make this a little bit more competitive. They banned out the TF. They gave the Jinx over 3 times. That's insane, giving a champion like that that's so strong into Shogo's hands. They were trying to 4-man bot, 3-man bot. It just wasn't enough, right? Winthrop, they tried to bot gap. They tried to find advantages in the mid lane, but Ole Miss just doing a fantastic job moving the pieces around, moving the champions where they need to be. And when they got pushed off the champion, the composition that they ran in game 1 and 2, they clap back with a team fight composition that just trounces Winthrop here. Very well played from them. A lot of adaptability, a lot of flexibility. Shit, this team might just win CLOL.
Listen, when you got a guy who's won the previous 2 CLOL championships on your team, anything is possible, and it could be possible that Ole Miss is hitting their stride at the right time, Shibby. This is a team that nobody is going to want to go up against in the CLOL championship, but that's neither here nor there, because that's still a few weeks away. Big congratulations to Ole Miss. Shibby, who's your MVP of the series? I think it's got to be easy, right? The only other people we can talk about have to be unsung heroes, because I got to give it to Shogo.
Yeah, I mean, he just hard carried 3 games in a row, right? Had the support system around him. If it were anybody, honestly, Rhino did a damn good job. Laser, heat-seeking hooks. He was the catalyst for those 2v2 kills, right? Getting the ult down, throwing his life away in some of those team fights. So, yeah, I mean, MVP Shogo, but, you know, realistically, unsung hero is Rhino on the Nautilus, on these champions here that just allow them to facilitate so well. And shout outs to Uncle Sam bringing out the Hui, showing us something we haven't seen before.
Yeah, it was a great series. We saw different looks from everybody, right? We saw a bit of a different look from Icelandic Hero. He doesn't play Lee Sin a lot, but he pulled it out to great effect in that last game. Even Stray up in the top lane playing Ornn, something that we don't typically expect out of him. Ole Miss showed immeasurable growth in this series. Take a clean 3-0 over Winthrop. Wow, what a series. What a shock, to be quite honest, that it was a 3-0. Congratulations to Ole Miss and Winthrop. Looks like they're leaking oil, but they got a nice little layoff before the CLOL Championship. That will be it for us here this evening. what a fantastic series of games. We want to thank you all for being here with us this afternoon into the evening. For myself, for my co-caster Shibby, for Hippie and Bridie behind the glass, thank you all so much for being here. And go tune into Show Go Stream once we get off the air.